city of Jenin for the first time in decades, aiming to suppress rising militancy.
Defense Minister Israel Katz announced a year-long military presence, preventing approximately 40,000 displaced Palestinians from returning.
In Sudan, the military has lifted a year-long siege on the city of Obeid, reopening vital supply routes and dealing a significant blow to the Rapid Support Forces. Joseph Eckerson with the latest.
This marks a pivotal advancement in the nearly two-year conflict with the RSF.
Hundreds of thousands gathered in Beirut for the funeral of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, nearly 5 months after his death from an Israeli airstrike.
Nasrallah, a founding figure of Hezbollah, significantly expanded the group's influence in the Middle East.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has defended President Donald Trump's recent dismissal of senior Pentagon officials, including Joint Chiefs of
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statements.
Now, I'm not sure if Al had a stroke
and corrections
in the middle of doing the news.
We got a cup of coffee in here, please.
Or oh, Al. You have had a stroke.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
It's good brew.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Okay. That checks.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Bubba-da-bub.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Maybe we should just take this show on the road. Australia. I get a night. You have to have a night. What do I say? I don't know why. A Bowie night. Man, all right. How you doing? Yeah, good to have you here. Blah, 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 blah. It's Tuesday. February 25th, 2025. Okay, that's close enough. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm getting less, more and more careless, less and less caring about anything. I'm looking at today's program over there on the Tube of You, or as some people call it, YouTube. And I forgot to put the episode number. Chinese mother's memoir completed by her son. No episode number. Just rank carelessness, laziness. But so that's what we got in the second hour for you. A Chinese son. I don't know. Did his mother not just stop being able to write, or did she just die? I don't know. I have not even gone that far into it. Richard, I can't pronounce his name, will be here in the second hour. But it's not a memoir. Is it a memoir? So if I start writing it about my life, my memory, my memoir, you can't just get into my memories, can you? Are you Elon Musk? Are you hacking my memories? That would be concerning. Don't hack my memories. So I don't know. It's a memoir completed by a son, but it seems to be 3 books. How this ended up being on the program today? Anybody's guess. Anybody's guess. I say yes to publicists because I like the publicists because it's easy. Talk about lazy. So that's what's going on here. Last night, we got an education in, I believe in everything, including the Easter Bunny. If you follow Beyond Classified, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, start following Beyond Classified, watch the show, and then you too can believe in everything, including the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, past life regression, psychics, UFOs. I have been given special dispensation by the creators from another parallel dimension to be the one to spread this knowledge. But here's the thing, and Stephen is kind of new at interviewing crazy people, so he has not run across this, and very rarely have I run across this phenomenon. I'm here to talk about UFOs and all this crazy stuff, but I'm not going to talk about it. You got to read the book. You know what? At some point, you got to stop saying got to read the book, because then it sounds like what it is. It sounds like what it is. It sounds like we're being too honest here. This is just a pitch for me to sell my book. And so you can't well, you got to read the book. Yeah, I'll read the book. Fine, I'll read your nice book you got there. But can we talk about why you believe in such crazy stuff? Past life analysis, past life regression analysis. I was Elvis. Yeah, that's funny. I was Elvis too. Were you? What time? Which Elvis were you? I was the skinny. I was the good-looking Elvis. You were the fat Elvis. I know. I could tell just by you shoving that peanut butter and banana sandwich down your mama's throat while you're licking it out of her ass. I'm sorry. I'm getting carried away. The point is, it's very rare that most of these people know their obligation is to be entertaining while spitting out batshit crazy. It's not that hard. If you're talking about batshit crazy stuff, it's pretty easy to be entertaining, even if for people who don't believe it, they go, wow, this is pretty entertaining. Listen to that batshit crazy. But this guy managed to, and I hate to disparage Stephen's guest because I love the show and you should follow the show, but follow it for all sorts of reasons, including watching the spectacle of seeing a guy who is simultaneously spewing all sorts of batshit crazy stuff while maintaining the high level of boredom. I just right, Patterson. I was the Air Force, and I saw aliens. And I need a shot of adrenaline to watch the program. So in the second hour, we're going to talk about Mom's memoir, Chinese Spies, and I can figure out exactly who the hell we're talking to. Richard Hsuing, her son. You know what? GWYN in Korea is win. So HSYUN or whatever it is in Chinese could just be son. We don't know. I'll find out, I guess, after this commercial. I think I need to take some ketamine. I'm going to give Musk a call and see if that's okay. I got to send him an email, by the way, to let him know what I did last week. But in the meantime, let's all get blown out on ketamine.
Mind Bloom is helping people achieve life-changing clinical and personal breakthroughs, alchemizing both the psychedelic medication, psychiatric care from psychiatric clinicians, coaches, we call psychedelic guides, and a lot of content and meditations and programs into this really transformational experience that, because it's delivered at home, costs a lot less and is a lot more convenient for people to receive.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now are the aforementioned Stephen, the I Believe in Everything, Ortiz, Ron, I Believe in Nothing, Kane, and GD. I'm analyzing Matt Napo's voice and realizing he's an idiot. Good morning.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Were you too busy talking bullshit with someone on the show to write down anything to say when you came on the air? Me neither. MindDogTV.com. Enjoy the suffering and support your local mercenaries.
Wow. If you missed the pre-show, we should have had that on Patreon. Steven.
Oh, rest in peace, Roberta Flack. Sorry, she died.
Oh yeah. Don't give me no flack. That's why the first time ever I video last night. I was wondering why. Wow, that's a really cool one. So I'm gonna do a reel on her today. I'm gonna reel her in, Roberta Flack. She's very good. Very, it's killing me
You
softly.
sound just like her. For a second, I thought she was not dead anymore.
Well, I don't know if you know this about me. I don't know if you know this about me. I used to be a Roberta Flack tribute artist. It didn't go over well, but I had some practice with killing people with my song.
Softly. Was it the blackface that you did? Was that the reason?
No, I just come out and sing off tune and kill people with my song, and that was the joke. That was the big joke. Yeah, so that we should have had a Patreon on that. Before the show, Steven and GD were debating last night's show and just how batshit crazy it was, and their beliefs about what people believe. Their beliefs about believing. I didn't
think we were debating. I thought we were discussing, right?
Yeah, more discussing.
No, I meant masturbating. I forgot that part of it.
Well, I usually do that before the show either way. So
do you get paid to masturbate?
No.
Because on Friday, the phrase "getting paid to masturbate" was uttered 4 or 5 times. I got to look at the transcript again, but you don't get paid to masturbate.
Well, I mean,
4 or 5 times on a regular show.
Well, I mean,
you get paid for your sperm, and I guess you have to get it from that.
Also, if you're a cam person, I mean, that's basically all they do on cam is they just masturbate and they get paid for it.
I did not know that. I thought they would take requests like simulate.
No, so
are you saying that right, Stephen? You're saying cam. It sounds like it should be cum.
Cam. No, cam girl.
Cam.
So like I said on that episode, my buddy who's a cam girl, like him and anyone else that's on there, unless they have another person with them, they're just beating their own meat or their own junk around, and people are just watching. And then what happens is they tip, like they'll tip, and then he has on Chatterbait there's a menu, right? The person creates a menu. I'll do this for this much, this for this much, this for this much, this for this much, this for this much. And then while they're watching, they can say, hey, will you do this? And he's like, sure, but you have to send so many coins. And yeah, it's weird.
A menu, like I will eat shit for. I want to. The red shit is $250 because it's got blood in it. The yellow shit is
or
like
food dye red dye number 3.
Oh my!
But yeah,
God.
They legit put up a menu and they just take requests while they go.
I got a menu. Yeah, I'll show you. This is a Wendy's. I think you've been to a Wendy's and you thought you were at a cam girl show.
I only know this because I helped him set it up.
I know.
My question is because living things, when they know they're being observed, change their behavior. If they're masturbating on camera, do they rehearse the face that they're masturbating to so that they don't show their real stupid face?
I don't know if they do
that. Only coming from what I was told by my buddy. The only thing being on cam and people watching did was just made him grosser. Like he would do more things on cam than he would do by himself alone.
Wow.
Because I think I would hate for people to see my orgasm face.
I would too, but apparently he didn't have that issue. He sticking stuff up his ass and coming
I thought that was your orgasm face. That's not.
No, that's Roberta Flack.
Mine's.
If you remember, I asked her about standards. Well, I didn't realize. I thought she was actually doing films, not just jacking off in her room. But I asked her if she had standards because the guy, and this occurs to me because the guy who was living in the car doing sex shows for young girls, with his wife present in the car, I asked him what he wouldn't do or what kind of, and the one thing where he drew the line, I mean, beating off with his wife in the car, all that kind of stuff was fine. Somebody asked him to shit on a rock. Shit on a rock, not the country. shit on a rock, and that's where he drew the line. He would not shit on a rock. I was like, well,
Now-
are you worried? You worried about the rock's feelings?
Is he a
Well,
gemologist?
I wouldn't pay to see someone poop on a rock, but I would pay to see someone poop on the rock.
That would be good.
I would pay to see what the rock does to them after that.
Well, that too. That's all package deal, buddy.
I was taking a nap on a fucking sofa, and all of a sudden Kevin Hart shit on me. He thought it was funny, so
But then-
he beat his little black ass.
Kevin Hart laid next to the poop, and I couldn't tell which was which.
I would kill for that. I would kill. That's crossing the line or shitting over the line. Yeah, but that's where his standards lie. It's like, where's your line? And that's just so weird that shitting on a rock. And who the hell is actually going to pay? Somebody who's going to pay him $20 to watch him shit on a rock. So
My buddy got $500 to wear a pack of underwear, not wash them, wear them, do whatever, put them in the bag, put them back in the envelope, and send them back. And the dude gave him $500 up front.
I never got them, by the way. I gotta check the tracking number on that because they still haven't arrived, and that was a while.
It sounds to me like somebody needs DNA to leave at a crime scene. You know, it's like
apparently $500 will get you DNA. So.
Now, wait a minute? Do you even need a tracking number, or can you just sniff it out? Like, where's my
have the dogs go?
That's probably why it didn't make it, because the ATF dogs were like, something's up with this package. I don't know what it is. It's bad.
I'm getting traces of gunpowder and weed and excrement. Yeah, it's all in one thing. It's like a guy shit bullets or something. I don't know.
So
Kid Rock's house.
Pivoting. Well, this is still about people doing kinky things on camera. There was an analysis by some dude from the CIA who put this thing out about Trump and the prostitutes pissing on the bed in the Moscow hotel room, and he said definitely happened, and that wasn't any part of any compromise. That was just kicks and giggles for Trump when he went to Moscow, and they were saying that it wasn't about the golden showers or the piss or any of that stuff. For Trump, is this weird psychological kink of defiling a bed that Obama once slept in. That was the most important thing to him. Like, that meant something.
What a fucking creepy weirdo.
Now that was the very first when the story started. Like, when the very first time I heard the story before all the other reiterations, it was the Obama angle. It was like Obama slept in this room, and it's like he got the people to piss on it. It wasn't for him, on him. It wasn't a sexual thing. It was more like a piss on Obama thing.
Yeah. Which is even if you try to, like, that is so kinky, weird, whatever. How in his mind does he draw a line between a bed the guy slept in 2 years ago? I'm gonna have somebody piss in it now to get him back. Like, he's never gonna sleep in that bed again.
Well, not even that. But how do you
sleep in that bed tonight?
How do you know that bed wasn't even replaced? Like, dude's a psychopath. Like, it's fucking dumb. That's like, you know what? Maybe that's why he wants to destroy America, because Obama once let it.
Oh, that.
No, I call bullshit on that. He's just in the piss. The whole bed story is a ruse to say, oh yeah, he's like this big dominant man. No, he likes being pissed on. I call bullshit on that story. It's it's about a bed now. No, it's about piss. The bed is the side story.
All right. If he was that into piss, now I hate to be on the side of, like, it sound like I'm defending Trump for not, but why do you have to go all the way to Moscow to get pissed? Couldn't you just go to Vegas? Couldn't you go to Atlantic City? He was in Atlantic City.
Well, I imagine, but he was there for business, right? He was just there for trying to get a hotel, right?
He was training. He was training in Russia.
There are no stories about him guzzling piss, getting pissed on, watching people piss in America. The only story that we have is in Russia. It's just we were totally.
That's the only bed shared. That's the only time that Obama and Trump shared a bed.
Well, also the stories from America.
Hold on. You're still on the Obama stuff. Ron's saying no, Obama had nothing to do with it. Trump's just into piss. You can't use that Obama thing to argue that piss angle because he's saying he's just into piss. The Obama thing had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Then my question, because then it goes like, because why are there not any other stories about it out there? Because when
they're in the Epstein files.
Stormy Daniels, his particular kink with her was, you look like my daughter, spanked me with the magazine with my face on it.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably all of these stories are probably in the Epstein files from the U.S.
But to back up Stormy's stuff, there's plenty of stuff where he actually called his daughter a piece of ass, said he wanted to have sex with his daughter.
Yes, I'm agreeing. What I'm saying is that seems to be his kink when he doesn't have other prompts. It's like when he has like his basic root kink is, I like Ivanka, I want Ivanka, I can't have her like I used to have her when she was my little girl. Now she's like, Jared's been banging it, you know.
All right. Now, staying on this kind of thread here, the FBI is reviewing the Epstein files under review amidst, I can't say that word, amidst. Why did they put a D and an S and a T right together?
I don't know, just to be assholes.
But this people are saying deletion, or they're going through them and taking all the every Trump out of every word that's.
Yeah, I bet they are.
So what good is it then? But so we're going to get the Epstein files with no Trump. See, he's innocent. He was never on the plane. He didn't even know Jeffrey Epstein. He never even met him or whatever.
There's going to be more retractions and redactions on that document than anything that's come out of the U.S. government. I guarantee it. There's going to be so much black marks on that paperwork. It's going to be unreal.
Well, black marks, I don't think they can get away with it. They actually have to go in and edit it out and rewrite the whole fucking thing, because black marks.
That would be wild. Yeah.
Black marks are just an indication that what's behind that black mark. You're hiding stuff. And why you hide? Why bother releasing it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at all the troves of shit that the CIA and FBI have on their websites that's declassified. Same thing. It's just we don't know what they're hiding because it's all blacked out.
Right. But in the era when we're releasing JFK files and UFO files and everything's not being redacted, and now the one where the pervert in chief is implicated, that one gets redacted.
That was my fear with Trump making these promises of releasing the UFO files, JFK files, MLK files, is that these are going to be distractions for when he's really just doing nefarious shit or continuously doing nefarious shit. It's going to be a distraction. He's going to do something. He's going to be like, oh, look, UFO documents, ignore what I'm doing. And then later on, it's going to be, I'm doing this. Oh, JFK files, don't look what I'm doing. You can feel it coming.
Yeah.
Stupid.
The Fort Knox thing has got me a little perplexed, because the idea, this rumor, doubt, whatever you want to call it, that the gold is not there has been around my entire life. I was trying to count it last night, like how many I think of 14 presidents, but actually how many administrations. I think it was 18 in my life. Might be 17. I lose track because I'm counting on my fingers. But so all of those could not make a phone call and say, "Is it gold there? Can somebody can I just send Herbie down there to check on the gold and just get it done?"
Could you send me some bricks? Just know they're there. Just send me some bricks. I know they're there.
Yeah, the Fort Knox thing. The Fort Knox thing is crazy. I heard about it when I was like 8 or 9. History did a whole 2-day thing about figuring out Fort Knox and the gold. And they could not get a straight answer. They would not let anyone in.
Presidents couldn't just. I'm going to take 15 minutes. Get Air Force One here. I'm going to fly to Fort Knox and just to look at it. Okay, not in my entire lifetime, 65 years. Nobody's been able to just check to see if it's there. Is that
Mnuchin went and took a photo op.
He did with
but even then, though,
a picture of him standing in front of a wall of gold bars.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. There's photos. There are photos of inside the vault supposedly, where you can see the gold. Because I don't remember what decade it was. I want to say it was the 70s or 80s, where they supposedly let reporters in, but they only let them into one little vault. They didn't let them in explore the whole thing. So even then, I was like, well, that doesn't prove anything. Because even if that place was full of gold, for all we know, maybe it's just down to one room. We don't know. Because again, they just won't let anyone in.
On Thursday, Mnuchin said the gold was there when he visited Fort Knox in Kentucky. So now they're going to try and spin this to if there is no gold there, they're going to try
Biden
to say
took it.
Biden took it, right? That's the only.
If that happens, dude.
Yeah. I don't.
I almost see one of the Bushes sending it somewhere more than Obama taking it.
My question is, because the gold standard was basically set up by the United States government, right? The United States government was not seated in Kentucky. Kentucky was part of the South when they tried to succeed from the Union. Why would you put your gold down there? Why would you put your gold in area that you controlled? Why not Philadelphia? Why not? No, I don't know. New York. Well, not New York. Never mind. You can't keep anything safe in New York.
Wow.
But Philadelphia. Someplace where the Union controlled it. Why the South?
I don't know. But yeah, Kentucky's a weird place to keep anything of value, right? You wouldn't keep your sister there.
You can't even keep your teeth in Kentucky.
But the conspiracy theory time. It's conspiracy theory time. Now I'm just. This is not my conspiracy theory. I'm just what I just saw. What I'm just sharing here is this. It looks as if this picture of Mnuchin in front of the gold bars was photoshopped from the same picture of him with Mitch McConnell.
Oh, wow.
It looks exactly like
that is. Yeah. Hold on.
So.
Oh yeah, look at the angle of the tie.
Well, no, because the tie there. No,
the same gloves holding the same book or whatever he's holding there.
Looks like a gold bar.
Is that not in front of? Because with the picture with McConnell, he's like just under a television set. I think that's in the Senate or something, right? Or
I think that's just his standard pose because the tie's a little different. The chin to chest space is different.
The smile was different too.
All right,
smile was also.
I'm not saying it couldn't be photoshopped from other pictures from that same array of pictures.
It's compelling.
But the fact that they took that pictures in black and white, because that's the picture I came up with. I was looking for one in color, unless the gold was so shiny that they couldn't get.
Here's the part that lends credence to the conspiracy theory, and I know this from 30 years or 35 years or almost 40 years of creating Photoshop fakes. It's easier to make it more convincing once you take the color data out and make it black and white. It becomes more convincing, easier to hide little artifacts and stuff like that in black and white. So they didn't take a picture in black and white that was made black and white. Nobody's taking pictures in black and white.
It's just
it's very
what is the benefit of making people believe there's gold in there if there's not?
It's a distraction. The story is really nothing. It's just a distraction story.
I know, but it's been a story for 100 years.
The benefit is to do it. Okay, it was there. Biden took over it. Now it's not there.
But what about before that? Because, like you said, it's been a story the whole time you've been alive. It's my whole life. It's been a thing.
That was the first time anybody took a picture that I know of in my lifetime to say.
Well, in the 60s or 70s, Fort Knox allowed reporters into Fort Knox with camera and video in color, and they.
But it was one room.
They showed it. It was one room of gold. It was one room of gold, and all of that. But I just mean before the Trump Obama bullshit. Like, what would be the benefit before that? Was it because the dollar was backed by the gold standard? Is it what kept the dollar on top?
I'm
just ignorant to it. I don't know.
My wife just came in the kitchen and she was telling me her brother, who has been he's career like National Guard, he's still in the National Guard, and he has been to Fort Knox, and he said it's nothing special.
Yeah,
it's nothing special at all. It's like one building. And that's it.
I used to live by it. I used to go by it a lot. And
what about underground, Ron? Isn't there like a lot of shit underground?
It's more than one building because I used to deliver there, but printing office and stuff like that. It's very mundane.
Where they say the vault is like a it's like it looks like a single building surrounded by double like 2 rows of fences, and then you have the military training grounds around it, and
It does seem like a weird place. I guess because it's in the middle of the country. So if somebody like a foreign entity wanted to come in and steal all the gold, they'd have to get past the coast and all that stuff.
That was the reasoning on the History Channel special. Was that spot was chosen because it was it was decently spaced from the coasts, and there was already an active base there that they could basically use as additional security for them.
And the people in Kentucky were too stupid to figure out how to break in.
Also, that I mean, I definitely wouldn't build it next to like Cambridge or something.
Right.
But on the other hand, they went through all their trouble of building Area 51. Why not move the gold there? Because apparently that's even safer than Fort Knox.
Well, I had that same question.
They're out of storage. Too many aliens.
Well, you got to remember the Area 51 though. There's also an underground complex. You got S1. I'm just saying. But remember, tune in next week on Beyond Classified.
We're talking about gold, and yesterday we backed Russia and North Korea against Ukraine, and so that's a bigger story, and to me than the fucking gold. And considering that's going to have really bad implications, and I'm very curious if people are willing to send their kids to die in a Trump war. Very curious.
Some of them are, some of them are.
They should take the Republican voting record and send their kids first.
I don't know that that's going to lead to. First of all, I think we've been the Trump administration has been backing Russia the whole time. They didn't come out and make it like an official. We're on the side of. But they've been, but I don't see how that could lead to, and I'm not thinking through all the possible scenarios here, but I don't think that leads to American troops on the ground for anybody. I think more
Gaza,
likely.
Didn't Trump threaten to put troops in Gaza?
He said we were taking it over, but then he said,
ownership.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I don't see how it could possibly do it without troops on the ground. He was saying, no, we wouldn't need any of that. We'd just make them such a good. Make them an offer they can't refuse. I don't know what that means. But backing Russia's probably going to win that war anyway, unless, like Macron or basically said all of Europe's going to get behind Ukraine anyway. So that could change things. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that even that they send him, just like North Korea sent Russia 10,000 troops. If each of the NATO countries sent 10,000 troops.
You're saying Japan and Korea look alike to you?
No.
All those countries look alike to you.
Racism.
No, I was looking at the weaponry. The guns look familiar.
Ew. Their penises probably all look the same too, you nasty. Why are you looking at their weapons?
The slanted little bullets?
No.
Some are commas, some are apostrophes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry. I've been racist already. even before our Chinese spy author comes on. I'm just a terrible person.
The picture on the thumbnail,
okay, because he's Chinese and we're mocking North Koreans and Japanese, so that's okay.
Yeah. So
it shows that we know the difference.
The picture on the promo that you made, he looks like he's leaning over, like it looks like you're looking at laptops, and you're like, I think I'm gonna get this one, and he leans in like, actually,
actuary is the word you're looking for.
Actuarially.
Actually, that picture was actually Photoshopped. We were at Fort Knox when I took that. I don't know. Who's the dog catcher? Does anybody know who the dog catcher is? Impossible.
I do not know.
Mission laser array. No flashing sign that says your nation's wealth with a flashing arrow. What?
I don't know.
I think this is one of your psychic friends, your UFO friends, your bunny friends. That's you. But who are you? Me. Anyway, I'm sorry, I've derailed this program already.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to everyone who's watched yesterday's episode of Beyond Classified. It's over 300 views already on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah,
great.
Doing pretty good.
Listen, there are people who will come out of the woodwork for the topic. That's why I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
I think you can build an audience pretty quick. Now, eventually, not yet, because I have to build up enough content that the Beyond Classified YouTube channel will allow you to stream there. You're not allowed to live stream directly to there. So, but when you do, I think once that kicks in, you probably get a lot of subscribers, a lot of new people. I think
I'm having trouble with Facebook right now because I wanted to create a Facebook and Instagram for the show as well, like Twitter, and Facebook. It's saying my password's wrong and it won't let me reset it. So I'm in contact with Facebook trying to get that shit fixed. But I'd love to start streaming it on the Beyond Classified Twitter as well. I'm gonna make that premium, so we can stream on there as well.
You're gonna pay Elon Musk whatever, the hostage. What do they call it? Ransom. You're gonna pay.
I'm going to, yes, but it's because I'm really proud of this show. I really want to grow it, and I think it has potential. So it's worth putting some money into.
I would not. Here's my only advice to you on this: if somebody's going batshit crazy, encourage them to go more batshit crazy, and then hit a B.
Yep.
I don't have an answer.
Yeah, I'm growing as I do this thing, and like for example, I've already started writing questions for the next week's guest. I'm definitely going to encourage the craziness a little more, and I want to ask more hard questions because I had a really good question pop into my head after the interview. I was going to ask him, if you have all this facts and knowledge, why'd you write a fiction book? So I just want to grill these guys.
I think he addressed that in the beginning. He said he was trying to protect the innocent. Like, there's no fucking innocent.
Yeah, but what kills me is you're on a mission. You're supposed to save humanity and blah 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 blah. But now I have to pick through your fiction and pick out what's real and what's not. Supposedly, like just
I didn't tell you this, but I should have told you this. They actually, I was the first choice to save humanity, but they came to me. The money wasn't there. It wasn't worth it.
You don't know this about me, but I was the first choice to be the one to save humanity.
I was the first Jesus.
If you want crazy, you should have met the guy that I met last night at HMAC on the porch. That guy.
Oh no! Nuts. Tell us the story.
Was that the black guy who says you gotta eat the pussy?
Now this guy, he was kind of stocky. He rides up on a bike, and he's like, "Hey man, does anyone have an electrical outlet? Because I'm trying to charge my phone." Yeah. Because my phone's at 1%. He's like,
"Hey, you got it."
Yeah. And we're like, no. Then he's like, he's looking around on the porch. He's like, "Hey, there's an outlet over here." Now this guy, like, he was stocky. He had like headphones on that looked like Beat headphones. They weren't. He was wearing a pair of boxer shorts on his head. Then he had a jacket with some shirt underneath. Then he was wearing, it looked like a dress, and he had leggings underneath that. And he had, like,
did you take any pictures, Ron? Because Ron, you take pictures of a lot of stuff.
No,
we need to get Ron some meta glasses so he can take some incognito photos.
Now this guy was clearly, like, he had issues because he started talking to me and AAA about like the red and green lights. He's like, "These red and green lights, man, they mean something." And AAA's like, "What do they mean,
Go
man?"
and stop.
Oh man, you know what?
Then he's like, I got like, "How do you think this sounds?" And AAA is like, "This sounds a little bit methy." He's like, No, I don't do drugs. I did heroin back in 2012, but I don't do drugs.
Oh my god,
Heroin doesn't count.
I have to run up you one. So, what was this? 4 months ago, I'm in downtown Indianapolis with my wife, and they have these blue street lights set up, and people are fucking up the wall conspiracies about this shit. Well, this guy's riding a bike with a microwave on his head, and he pulled up. We were eating dinner outside on the patio, and this guy pulled up with a microwave on his head, and he asked us for a cigarette. He comes up, pushes the button, door pops open. He goes, "Yo, can I borrow a cigarette?" And I was like, "Can I ask why you have a microwave?" And he goes, "These blue lights, man, they're reading my mind and they're giving me cancer. I'm not going to keep dealing with it." And then he just slammed the door shut and rode away.
Wow.
Fucking weird.
Was that April? Was that like on April 1st when that happened? Because that almost sounds like somebody.
No, this was in August. This was in August of last year.
Wow.
Now, Ron, the guy was complaining about the red lights and the green lights. The yellow lights didn't bother him at all. He was okay with them.
No, that was just one part of the conversation. But like the guy, like what Steven's talking about, there was a guy doing Instagram reels like that. It was called Make the Hood Smile. And he'd ride up on a little mini bike, and he had a microwave on his head, and he'd pull up to the camera, open the microwave, do some like inspirational message, then ride off.
What's his name?
It was called Make the Hood Smile.
Did it make the hood smile? If he achieved his goal?
They are kind of funny. I'll give the guy
I would laugh out loud. I mean, not
okay.
Smile. That would give me a belly laugh. Like, whoa.
This guy wouldn't have made me uncomfortable. This guy just looks like he's having a good time. This dude rode up on a bicycle with like aluminum foil on the spokes, and he was white, not black. So there's that.
Here, I'll give GD and Matt an example. This is Make the Hood Smile. And here, we'll just choose this one.
I know a lot of you hating motherfuckers want me to fail, but guess what? It ain't happening. You know why? Because I got a motherfucking microwave on my head.
That's awesome. I love that guy so much. See, that would have been cool. That would have been a cool experience.
My first reaction would be like defensiveness. I'd have to take a step back, like this guy could be dangerous. But after that, I would laugh. I think I would laugh. First time I met Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe was a real mobster, a guy who killed people. He was
is this from Petticoat Junction?
No, this is from Gambino Junction. This guy was a real killer who had gone to jail. He had done several murders and gotten out on parole. But when I met him, this is absolutely true. He was wearing a Giants football helmet, a diaper, and nothing else, out on the street watering the sidewalk.
With his dick or real water?
With a hose, just watering the sidewalk. Like, what do you think? No plants, just watering the sidewalk.
Now, was he trying to like get the
you wouldn't want to ask
diminished capacity? Was he trying to get like a diminished capacity charge?
No, he was out on parole. He was done. They let him go. He had done his time, and he was basically, but he was in the witness protection program at the time because they did want him like spill.
Well, that's inconspicuous, and nobody's going to notice something like that in witness protection.
Yeah, because the entire block was out there the same way wearing.
Yeah, if everybody in the neighborhood is doing it, then nobody's doing it, right?
Yeah, GD, the reason I don't take pictures of like people like that, because I feel like that's like punching down, because like talking to that guy, like he wasn't threatening or anything, but you could, it just didn't feel right to like do that type of shit to him, because the guy definitely has some issues. He's
I can see that.
And like homeless, possibly. I mean, so, like, to me, like, punching down at people like that is, I just don't feel right doing it.
I think the 80s and 90s made, especially media people, more apt to exploit people like that. Like Howard Stern would put that guy on in a second and just make fun of him for 2 hours or something like that. And Jerry Springer and a lot of people would have taken advantage of that. And I think that was pretty detrimental to society. That whole attitude of no matter how fucked up you are, there's got to be an angle where I can monetize it.
And I wasn't thinking in terms of monetizing. I was just thinking in terms of like sharing. Just like I saw this fucking crazy.
Yeah, I thought about that, like taking a picture of him, but I just didn't feel right doing it because it's like this guy has definitely seen some life. He's run into a few problems, and he didn't. Yeah, he didn't seem violent or anything like that, but it's like, well, it's cold and you're possibly still sleeping outside. So I don't want to fuck with somebody like that.
Yeah, good call, man. That's, you know what? I'm proud of you, Ron.
Yeah, there are too many other pieces of shit out there to make fun of.
Oh,
instead of going after a guy like that.
100%.
Jeremy Langdale listening, I just want to remind him that in 1984 he left his camera in the glove compartment with like 3 pictures snapped, and Joe Mignani and I grabbed that camera and went to the psychiatric home and took a bunch of really crazy pictures and then brought the camera back to his house. It was like 2 years later that his mother decided to send the film off to be developed, and then when all the pictures came back, he was like, "Well, who are these people?"
Was it like one of those? Was it like an old 110 camera?
Yeah, it was one of those things that came with the roll. You just it snapped into the camera, and then you brought it to the photo mat, and then it was one of those.
What's a photo mat?
Yeah.
Well, it's what he was. It was what Matt was back when he was 2D.
Yeah.
Hey, photomats sort of still exist at Walmart.
Right.
Yes.
Us right now, Clark Ortiz, the super loser.
I never heard it referred to as a photo mat.
They were
They still have them, but they'll print pictures. They'll print hard copy pictures from your like memory cards. You take an SD card in or something.
Oh yeah, I'm old enough to have developed film in the past.
Photo mat.
Weird. Yeah, that's definitely before my time. See, I'm old enough to where we still had like film cameras, like disposable cameras, but you'd take it to like Walgreens or CVS or, we didn't have these.
I wish I had the money so I could go to a Walmart, because you can like plug your phone in to print off pictures and go into my directory where it's got like 10,000 photos. I'll see you tomorrow. Just fucking
dude, that's a thing that happens. The one I worked at in Columbia City, I ended up having to come out from my HR office and help them because somebody came in and ordered I think they ordered like 2,500 or 3,000. They were supposed to be like not invitations, but like a commemorative thing for this kid's graduation. And they're like, yeah, but I need these in like 5 hours. So we had to go out there and we 5 hours straight of we broke a machine doing it, but we got it done. It was fucking dumb.
Why are you wearing a disguise?
What do you mean?
You're wearing
because he's Clark Kent right now.
I was getting a headache, so I put my glasses on.
Huh.
What do we do when we're looking at you gives us a headache? Can you
I was gonna call Jimmy Olsen to see who that guy was. I don't know that guy. And then I heard the voice. That must be Steven, but it was a little disconcerting.
You know how great it must have been back in the day to work at a photomat and someone brings and there's nudies on there.
I bet that was a mixed bag though, because for every this chick's hot, chick's hot, there's a big veiny dick there. So
I had pictures developed from when I was on a nude beach, and I had pictures developed of my first wife, and I didn't think anything of it, to be honest. But when they give them back to you, they're marked hot. It's like HOT, 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 and depending on how many hots
or not.
I think hot just meant nude.
Not.
Yeah. And Ann says, good morning. And she didn't say gentlemen. She just says Matt, Steve, Ron, and GD. She dropped the gentleman. She no longer. I don't know if she doesn't.
That.
Yeah,
I appreciate that
because we have reputations to keep.
Yeah. Whatever. I never claimed to be a gentleman ever in my life. I'm just not gentle or a man. I'm actually a harsh woman or something. I don't know. Where am I going?
You're Kentucky 10.
My dogs are being so needy today. It's so weird.
Yeah, Matt's a Kentucky 10 and LA 2.
All right.
I don't know why it was so funny, but it was.
So if you're just joining us, we're waiting on a Chinese spy who hid behind like an authorship of a memoir of his mother. We might not have even really had a mother. He was just making that up for opportunity to come spy on us and figure out where the gold is. Where they hide the gold? That's so Richard Sung Perkins, but he doesn't use the Perkins. His mother used the Perkins, but he doesn't use the Perkins.
Perkins was a good place to eat back in the day.
I don't
have an answer for that.
You didn't have Perkins out there? Okay.
We had Perkins. Well, at least I've seen Perkins on the road. Usually at truck stop, not where there's a rest stop or something. Was it a steakhouse or something?
Yeah, it was kind of like a Ponderosa, like a
It was an old people restaurant. It was always filled with elderly people.
It was a steak sauce. Lee and Perkins. I'm sorry, that's just so terrible.
Yeah, Perkins was like a mid. What is that sound?
I thought Perkins was
okay, that was Ron.
From,
okay,
from United Kingdom, not United Kingdom, Wild Kingdom, Marlon Perkins.
Oh yeah, Marlon Perkins.
Yes, and then so everything he caught, they served at that restaurant. All the stuff that he caught and killed, they served at his steakhouse.
We used to have a Perkins, but it closed a couple of years ago. I think COVID killed it off, along with half of their customer base.
I think ours disappeared too around then. Yeah.
Perkins sounds like an old school coffee shop. Perkins. Oh, yeah, I get it. Perkins.
I wonder if Perkins regrets putting up like I don't know if this is true, but I can see like certain Perkins restaurants because they were Trump supporters having signs up like no vaccines in here.
You know what? I got it. What are you talking about? Instagram is suspecting automated activity on my account. Like what? I just doing a live video here. Back off, you little. I don't know. Why are they doing that to me? They're doing that.
Kids look like retards.
So which dog is that?
Retards.
Which dog was that?
That's Cooper. It's Cooper. That's my big boy.
As in DB Cooper?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So let's get to the real thing here. Now, I hate to give Ron credit for this, but Ron called this quite accurately like a year and a half ago. When the Second Amendment people were, the Democrats are going to come and grab our guns. Democrats are coming to grab our guns. Yesterday, Trump and Pam Bondi were talking about a gun confiscation policy that they're going to be enacting. And
Shocker.
I don't know if the Second Amendment people in MAGA pay attention enough to actually. I put it out there for them, like, in case you want to sit down and listen to this. But it shouldn't be shocking. I mean, the idea of fascism is you can't allow arms out in the public, even if they're people who are on your side now, because they could turn against you. So you shouldn't be shocked by this. But indeed, Ron called it correctly. The gun grab is not coming from the left; it's coming from the right, and nobody's paying attention. Like,
and it's so mind blowing that the Republican Party is so like in their DNA about the Second Amendment and all this bullshit, and they just willingly voted somebody in that's doing everything they said the left was going to do.
Let's address this comment. Even they did mention mentally ill people. They mentioned criminals. They mentioned lots of people. But they're talking about grabbing guns. And if you followed the Second Amendment argument for the last 25 years or 30 years or so, it's always, well, that's the slippery slope. They're going to call anybody. They can call anybody they want mentally ill. That's the argument they brought up. So for them to say, well, it's just going to be criminals, mentally ill people, that's how it starts. That's their argument, not my argument. That's how it starts. It's a slippery slope. So yeah, they did mention cases like that, but that's according to them, that was their biggest fear. Any capitulation is just where it starts.
I can't find it. I can't find that story. What?
Look on my Facebook feed. There's a video of Pam Bondi explaining to Trump exactly how it's going to work.
Yeah, that's the scary part, Matt, is who are the criminals or who's deemed crazy.
Well, this goes back to somebody who used to be related to me, who went to sue the federal government for disability, a psychiatric disability, because he claimed to be crazy. In the same day, they were allowing him to go out. As soon as he got his case resolved, he went out and bought some what we would classify as assault weapons, and held his small town in the Carolinas at police department at bay for 3 days after he just went to court to prove he was crazy. But the issue there is the government can just assign you mentally ill. They can just say that about you, and as an excuse to take your gun away.
And then who knows what they? And then when it comes to the mentally ill thing too, like who knows where they draw the line at what's acceptable for mentally ill to have a gun? They could call ADHD too sick.
Exactly, yeah. Or they hire the psychiatrist, psychologist, or whatever who deems you too mentally unfit to have a gun, and they're the ones who just make that assessment, and then they come and take your gun and saying you're mentally unfit. That's the argument. So to say, well, they were just talking about mentally ill people. If you would have said that and there was a Democrat in the office, I'm guarantee all those Second Amendment people will be up your ass. Yeah, that's where it starts, bro. I don't know if you know this about me. My father stuck his cock in my mouth, and he was mentally ill. And I don't know. I'm sorry to go there. I don't know that horror story about him waking up with his father's cock in his mouth. That's gonna haunt me till I die, or even after I die. That's nothing could be worse.
Make sure you transmit that story to the aliens for me, please.
Well, it's out there now. It's out in ether. It's going out there.
What
there's like a Voyager 4. There's a Voyager 4 with a message that says, "Oh, don't you know this about me?"
I glossed over the fact that last night the dude said that we can't leave Earth.
Yeah,
I glossed over. Yeah, we're not allowed. Because I was
and I didn't know because I said we've been to the moon. I think like 20 people have been to the moon, which means they've left Earth.
Yesterday has pushed me to the point where I'm no longer nervous to ask the hard questions or to grill them, because like I said, I had questions pop up that I wish I would have asked. So now I'm writing my questions now for the next one, because
it's so good that I have my mic muted.
Wrong.
I was screaming at points. I was like, "Are you?"
Oh, I know you were. I know you were, and I was just, man, yeah, I'm excited.
Past life regression. First of all, this is how the guy found out that he is alone. He has been selected by the people, the things, the entities as the person to save humanity. He found that out in past life regression.
Why does he get to? I'm on my 28th life.
Yeah. Well, the point is, at that point, as soon as somebody starts talking about, I found out in past life regression, you should have the white guys with the nets come in and take them away at that moment. Like, I'm sorry, you're not Elvis. I'm Buddy Holly, but you're not Elvis.
You definitely need lube for it, because I can hear the pussies drying up as we speak.
Next week the pussies will be
a good
dripping.
transition. Ron, would you mind saying a different sentence? Because I was about to say something, and that's a terrible transition for what I'm about to say.
Well, next week the pussies will be dripping because of my guest next week.
Not either. No, can we change something, Matt? Would you give me?
I want to hear the line that you were going to say. That
no, it's not a line. Okay, I didn't want to follow what Ron and Steven just said with. And Mickey Delaney said hi to everybody.
I would counter that. I would understand where Ron's coming from with this, but because a lot of women are just their pussy just dries up, and you see dust come out when guys either start doing magic tricks or talking about UFOs or any of this stuff. It just makes women like turn.
Hey, that's not completely true. My wife fucked the shit out of me last night after that.
That's what I was just going to say. It's not true. There are women groupies of this stuff who actually makes them wet. The majority of women, sensible women, sane women might dry up and squirt dust.
That is true.
Mickey, I apologize to you. I wanted to acknowledge your presence, and but I didn't want to introduce you right after that topic. I didn't want to make it like, oh, and by the way, speaking of pussies, by the way, and I didn't want that to be the thing, and I apologize. But if I wait until the suitable conversation, I may never acknowledge you. So I apologize.
Who are you announcing? Who are we speaking to?
Mickey Delaney.
Oh, Mickey, he's fine with Dusty Bajanis.
Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine that you like
blow my mind. Hey, Mickey.
Mickey was in the chat room for Beyond Classified last night. I think his pussy was dried up and blowing dust. No,
I apologize. I as Larry the Cable Guy would say, I apologize on behalf of all the pygmies or something.
Pygmies, yeah. Wow, it's news time already, and then we're gonna talk to a North Korean Japanese spy.
No. He's. I don't know what you internment when you said it, but no.
Internment? Oh my god!
I get it. Don't give me no Roberta Flack.
Hundreds of thousands gathered in Beirut for the funeral of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah nearly 5 months after his death from an Israeli airstrike.
Nasrallah, a founding figure of Hezbollah, significantly expanded the group's influence in the Middle East. The massive turnout, estimated between 450,000 and 1.4 million, underscores Hezbollah's enduring support despite recent challenges. Jim Kender reporting.
In Sudan, the military has lifted a year-long siege on the city of Obeid, reopening vital supply routes and dealing a significant blow to the Rapid Support Forces. Joseph Eckerson with the latest.
This marks a pivotal advancement in the nearly 2-year conflict with the RSF, known for committing numerous war crimes. Despite these gains, the region faces a cholera outbreak in the White Nile area, resulting in 68 deaths and over 1,860 infections due to contaminated water sources.
Israeli tanks have entered the West Bank city of Jenin for the first time in decades, aiming to suppress rising militancy.
Defense Minister Israel Katz announced a year-long military presence, preventing approximately 40,000 displaced Palestinians from returning. Palestinian officials condemn this as a dangerous escalation, accusing Israel of entrenching its control over the territory. Benjamin Wright reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
Oh, no, it's not. This is all the news headlines.
Ukrainian President Zelensky has expressed willingness to step down from his position in exchange for peace amid ongoing conflict with Russia.
This statement comes as Russia launches its largest ever drone assault on Ukraine, escalating tensions in the region. Zelensky's offer aims to facilitate negotiations and end hostilities, though it remains uncertain how Russia will respond. Kevin Sanders reporting.
A new Ohio law restricting transgender women from using women's restrooms in schools has sparked internal conflicts at progressive institutions like Antioch and Oberlin colleges.
The law applicable to private colleges.
Here's the problem with that. Trump basically the other day said that Zelensky was not the president. You know, it was no election. He's a dictator, blah, blah, blah. So if he's not the legitimate president, then no matter what treaty he signs, agreement is not going to be legitimate because he's not the president.
Oh.
So why would Trump be pushing him, an illegitimate president, to sign a treaty or a deal for minerals if he doesn't have the authority to do it?
Because he's going to be the best president for the black population.
I think when he says black population, I mean he means the people with black hearts. Because I don't think he means.
Did you see when
Clark Kent?
Did you see Netanyahu sitting with? Sorry, did you see when Netanyahu was sitting with Elon Musk, and they were talking about? He was like, "Can you be president?" And Elon's like, "Well, no, not really, not officially." And then Netanyahu was like, "Well, let's unofficially say you're president." And it went into his hypothetical, and I was just like, "That is such dangerous rhetoric. That's so scary."
But that's not hypothetical, because that's what right now he is. Trump never wanted to be the ruler. Okay, he wants the title and the glory, but he doesn't want the responsibility, and he doesn't want the
golf. You go handle shit.
Exactly. He would play golf 30% of the days that he was in office. 33%, 10 out of 31. He was playing golf.
Here to stay out of jail and golf. That's all
it. That's it. He doesn't, because even in his first term, he had trouble finding a vice president because the vice president was going to be doing all of the work, and he just wanted to be in charge of propaganda. That's it. He wanted to promote America, not run America. And it's the same thing now. He wants to promote his brand, but he doesn't want to run the country. That's why he has Musk.
Although the opinions expressed are those of G.D. Fenderson and G.D. Fenderson alone in that statement. I actually agree with him that Trump, he would prefer if Musk could do it without getting so much attention on himself. But other than that, he's fine with letting Musk do all the work.
Now, I'm basing my opinion on what Trump actually said out of his mouth before he was nominated the first time.
So I was just expressing that I agree with you on that opinion.
Yeah. My opinion is almost comes out of the horse's ass. It's directly out of the horse's ass.
You could do that all day long with Trump, and they will still say, "Well, yeah, that's just your opinion, man." They pull that line out of the Big Lebowski. Like, that's just like your opinion, man. So, you could say that about anything that basically Trump wants to cut Social Security, even because he said that. He's okay with it anyway. And
now the video, I looked at the video that you put on your Facebook page. I didn't listen to it because I was listening to you guys, but I do have it saved so I can look at it. But where did you get the video? Did you record it off of television? Did you steal it from TikTok, YouTube?
I think PolitiFact. I might have been PolitiFact. I don't remember exactly. One of those,
Because somebody in your comments asked, "Is this new?" They asked. They wanted to know how old the video was.
Obviously, Pam Bondi is the Attorney General.
Right, and that's what I thought to myself. I don't understand. Because she was never in administration before. She was just an attorney and a donor, and also a recipient of she was a donee and a donor.
I think she was Attorney General of Florida.
Right, she was Attorney General of Florida, and she dropped charges against him after she got like a $25,000 donation to her campaign from him.
Right. Now, Clark Ortiz ran away just as because we have to get to our guest, but I wanted to ask Clark Ortiz. He must be taking a shit in a trans person's bathroom. See, this is I want to ask him about. Oh, he's coming back. Is he faking the wheel thing again? Oh, I forgot my chair. Yeah. All right. So
he had to go get his interview chair. He was in his commentator chair. Now he went to get his interview chair. Right. He has a different chair for different phases of the show.
Yeah. In the news, we just heard about the biggest drone strikes from Russia to Ukraine since the start of the war. Last night you went the entire hour without mentioning drones in New Jersey, and I would. That's one thing I want every UFO guy to comment on. What were the drones over New Jersey? Because according to Trump, they were United States military stuff. Biden knew about them and lied to people. I don't know if that's true. Who knows what's true? But I want to hear these UFO quacks. UFO people.
I was planning on asking him, and it slipped my mind. However, I do plan on hitting that pretty heavy with Bob Spearing next week, head guy from MUFON.
You know, I saw a drone 2 nights ago, another one over this area. I was out walking the dog, and it was exactly like a drone that I would buy from, a toy store or whatever,
Right.
but bigger, much bigger. It looked exactly like one of those little, remote control drones I could go out and buy, but it had to be, it's estimated at least 20, maybe 30 feet across in size.
Now there was a drone on my porch the other day, and I thought to myself, they think it's spring and it came out of hibernation and it's going to get cold again. You need to go back because you're going to die up here. Go back to your queen. Let her know it's still winter. Go back.
Well, it's definitely interesting that the drone talk has almost stopped completely, but they're still being spotted. These giant drones are. And it's not just you, they're being seen all over the country sporadically. And now it's just not a topic of conversation anymore. It's really surprising.
Are they delivering pizza?
Well, no, a good number of them, like has been said, are civilian drones, Amazon, Walmart, whatever.
But, okay, hold on a second.
Not a 20-foot drone.
Hold on a second. If it's a civilian drone, why are no the civilians like saying, "Oh, that was me. That was mine. I was just out shooting."
It could just be fear of repercussions. I mean,
maybe they're not licensed. Maybe they didn't get their permit.
When you get a drone, if the drone weighs more than a pound, you have to register it with the FAA. You have to get a number for the craft, and then you also get a drone pilot's license. If you don't have any of that stuff and you're caught flying it, especially in restricted airspace and things like that, I mean, it's a felony. So you can get in a lot of trouble. So it's probably just a matter of just not wanting to get in trouble.
I would say that's probably
as far as the civilians.
I don't have any counter to what you just said, but I would just say that everybody there are in the real estate industry right now and the real estate videography, photography business.
Yeah.
I know literally, personally, I know over 1,000 people who have those licenses and have those drones. And I think most of the people who are doing it have gone that route. Now there are some hobbyists and people who haven't gone that route. And I don't understand why they don't force that on you when you buy it. Like a gun, you have to register that. Hold on, let me just finish. So if there are thousands and thousands in this area alone, you got to think the odds are that these people who flying had the right registration and certification and FAA license.
Maybe. I mean, because
if you're flying at night,
when you buy a lot of the drones that you buy, if they're big enough to require that, there's usually a little slip inside that says, "Hey, you need to register this," but there's nobody double checking to make sure you do it when you buy it. Nobody at the store is telling you. So, but yeah,
it's the overwhelming number of them are, and you would think with all the ones that were cited, at least some of them have to have the legit documentation. I'm not saying every one of them has gotten a license and everything, but with all the ones that were cited, you would think one of the civilians out there flying it doesn't have any repercussions to worry about.
Well, this is why I don't buy that these drones are hobbyists and everything else, because one, if you look at the longevity of the way these things fly, unless you're out spending 10 grand on a drone, you're getting maybe 30 minutes of flight time at best. And that's if you're not flying it around. That's just like hovering and kind of, maybe taking pictures. But if you're flying it around like some of these are doing, or some of these are hovering in spots for 2-3 hours, like that's either military grade or it's something else. So
strings. It's like kites. They're kites. They got string and little LED lights, and they're like holding it. They're like, okay, bring the kite in, and there you go.
Keep this in mind and write it on the inside of your little Clark Kent glasses there. Anytime you have a UFO guy on, drones, just to ask him about drones. Because this is like the pressing question, and it will get some traction as far as viral drone stuff.
Butter me with Crisco and call me a mule.
Is that a voice changer app or something? What happened? It's just weird. I don't know.
Call me a mule.
Last thing before we get to our guest, and we really do have to get to our guest. I'm got 1 minute to get this thought out. The outlawing trans people from using bathrooms. I think the next step here.
Bathrooms in general, just certain bathrooms.
Oh well, whatever. They have to pee. They have to shit. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
rest
what I'm
of them.
saying. Is that they just can't use the bathroom at all? It's just illegal.
Well, there is no trans bathrooms, right? So the men don't want them in there. The women don't want them in there.
What about they can use the family restrooms, right?
No, those are mine.
Oh.
So what I'm suggesting is for trans people, and I know this is a kind of radical move, but just go take a shit on somebody's desk. Or are you gonna let me use the bathroom now, or am I gonna come here and take a shit on your desk every fucking day?
I think that trans people should find the representatives in Congress who are wanting them to shit on to not be able to use the bathrooms, and you should just mail them your shit. Take a big steamer, write in an envelope, send it to your congressman.
I mean, I don't think somebody taking a shit is a a threat to rape me. Listen, even if I were a woman, even though a petite little defenseless little woman, I would not be threatened by somebody taking a dump. Like, oh, he wants to fuck me. No, he wants to wipe his ass and get out of there, or she wants.
That argument fucking drives me up the wall, because, like for example, I don't like when anyone goes in the bathroom when my kid's in there, man or woman. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm in there, I don't give a fuck who's in there. I'm not checking out people's junk and all that. I'm going in there to take a shit or a piss and leave.
I would not go in there when Steven's in there, by the way. Whew, I've been there. I'm sorry. It's a Taco Bell, and sitting in the chair all day just kind of steams it up. Anyway, now that our guest has had ample chance to run away and hasn't, good for him. I mean, Richard, I'm going to say, I'll just take a guess that the H is silent, right? And Sung is an author of a memoir that his mom
H is silent.
What? I couldn't. What's silent?
The H is silent. It's like
what's silent? I can't hear it. It's like there's no sound there. You keep saying something silent, but it's silent.
That's what I call schlong division.
Well, all right.
The H in schlong is not silent.
What? What's not silent?
The H in schlong.
It's something that's silent, but I can't hear what it is because it must be silent. Richard Sung is an author of a memoir, which is kind of a three book memoir. His mom started and he finished, and he's here now to talk about it, and we got to figure out why. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Matt.
Do you want to be called Dr. Richard because you're a PhD?
No.
And what's your PhD in?
Oh, I did not notice.
Richard is
no, I think it's important to call you Doctor. Now, is the H silent?
Yes.
Not in PhD. In PhD, the H is crucial.
Yeah, so it would sound like Shon, S-H-O-W-N. So really, in my last name, the H and S should be reversed. I mean, in terms of pronunciation, yeah. But whatever is fine. Yeah.
Okay. Now Perkins is in the middle of your name. Now your mom had it at the end of her name.
Yes, that would be my American side of heritage, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Now your mom married an American who was in China, in communist China, in the Mao years, or do I have that correct?
Not quite like that. I
wish her adopted name then?
Yeah.
She was adopted by missionaries. Did they change her
my
name?
My mother was adopted by American medical missionaries.
Right.
And so that's where so she was renamed Jean Perkins. And that
because I saw that. I saw Jean now Jean Tren Hua.
Yeah, oh, perfect.
Jean
Chenghua. Yeah, Chenghua is actually Chinese for spring flower.
I was trying to find that. I was trying to figure out what that translated to, and I couldn't.
Yeah, right.
Now it makes sense.
So, basically, I guess you're here on behalf of the Chinese government to spy on this program and hack my social security number.
Actually, I don't use TikTok, so
okay.
Great answer.
Your mom was an MD. What was her? When did she get her MD, and what was her practicing specialty?
Yeah, she became an ophthalmologist, eye doctor, and surgeon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was when she was still in communist China.
All right.
She came back to the States with me, brought me over to the States in 1980.
1980.
Wow.
Just like yesterday. I remember it well. When your mom was writing this, was she determined? Was she? Did she know it was going to be a three book memoir?
No, she didn't, and neither did I. And we both were sort of trained scientifically, right? We all knew that we should consult people who had written books and talk it over and learn how to write a book, but neither of us did that. And we all just started jumping right in. And she told me at one point in time that a good book requires 1 million words. I don't know where she got that from. And
1 million words.
Yeah. So by the time I was approaching 600,000 words, I was thinking, wait a minute, you know, I had the Google and internet on my hands, right? She didn't. At least she had some excuses. So I realized King James Bible was only 700,000, right? And then we're about to pass the Old Testament. And then I realized the next category would be right, War and Peace. It will be Charles Dickens novels. Those are in 100,000 to 200,000 words. And I realized we made a terrible mistake. And until someone introduced my family, actually my American side of family introduced me to an awesome editor, and we found an awesome publisher, and they helped me whittle them down to about 100,000 words and parcel them into 3 volumes. I know, like memoir, it's much less a memoir; it's more like a chronicle or archive. But 3 should stand on their own, individually representing 3 distinctly different periods or eras during her lifetime.
That's interesting because picking up like the second book without having read the first book would seem counterintuitive to me because I don't know this person, the backstory, and now I'm picking it up in it's like a serial show that you haven't watched the first 7 seasons of, and now you're just like gonna know all the characters and all that stuff. But having talking to lots and lots of authors, the standard for a novel is like 80,000 words. So 1 million words would be like 12 novels or something. But so the challenges for you now, how far was your mother into this book when she passed, and then and how long? Well, we'll just start with that. How far was she into it when she passed?
Yeah, so she spent about 11 or 12 years on that, beginning at early 1980s. Wow. And by the time I inherited 3 boxes full of manuscripts and notes of over 1,000 pages, but I still had a lot of gaps to fill, and I tried to mimic her style, right, and very detailed style. So I had to add a lot and a lot of historical sort of backdrop to what she had already.
Now, I have a question that's kind of selfish, but like when my mother passed, she just had like a 10-page manifesto, and like I was mentioning it for like 2 sentences, and I was like really hurt because she mentioned the other kids, like the other kids got paragraphs, and I got like 2 sentences. Were you like looking for mentions of you in the memoir, and were you like she didn't mention me here, or
towards the end, pretty much in the third volume, she started talking about my older sister and me, I guess. And I found, I mean, I remember a lot of stuff, but I found plenty I didn't know, right? Or even if I knew or remembered, I wouldn't know the gravity of the situation. Right?
Now, have any of that stuff become a memory for you? Like, okay, I didn't remember this, but now it is a memory because she told it, and so for you, it's like it really, like you actually do remember it, even though you got the information from her memoirs.
Yes, I think so. You know, this is funny too. And my mom will brag about her photographic memories, about how much she remembers while she was a kid. And then I knew later she cheated, right? She read all the letters her American mother wrote to her American grandmother. So, I mean, there were a lot of stuff that she remembered, claimed that she remembered, but technically she actually was reminded of from those letters. Yeah.
My mother used to say that I had a photographic memory, but nothing ever developed.
I just want to say we spent now, of course, with you being here, we're talking about your mother's book. She started the book, you finished the book, so it's just normal to talk about your mother. But we spend an inordinate amount of time on this program talking about GD's mother. When Stephen and I talk about our mothers, it's not so. It's usually a quick flippant thing about my mom was a crack whore or whatever. I'm just talking about Steve's mother. I'm not talking about my mom. Well, I never met my mother, so I don't really know. But we spend a lot of time talking about GD's mother, and I'm wondering why that is. I think he needs to go to a psychiatrist and Dr. Freud.
Okay, well, let's not talk about my mother. Let's talk about your mother. Richard, did you realize that Matt? Did you realize that Matt was actually raised by a Chinese family for 3 weeks?
1 week.
1 week. 1 week. Sorry, for 1 week, he was adopted into a Chinese family for 1 week.
Apparently, they were gamblers, horse people. Like they were
not the Chinese family, his family.
Right. Anyway,
Matt only likes to claim Chinese because his favorite meal is cream of some young guy. So
I didn't even know what that is. Thank you, Clark, for that, but I don't even know what that is. So now with memoirs, they say you're not supposed to do a whole lot of fact checking. It's a memory thing. It's that person's memory and experience. How are you able to capture your mother's memories, or did you do a lot of like research and fact checking, which takes it out of the memoir genre altogether?
Yes, I did have to interview a lot of people. So I actually traveled to China many times.
Ooh.
And I interviewed, including my late father, right? And he would know, he knew many stories I wouldn't possibly know. In the 1950s.
Now, when you interviewed your late father, was he already late, or?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It must be hard to get answers out of him.
My mother passed away 2014. My father passed away 10 months later.
Wow.
So yeah.
So he was poisoned by your mother? I'm sorry.
I think my
I'm
mother was just telling him to go with her, right? So
no, I'm just a rude racist guy. So I'll just say anything just for shock value. That's
I'm totally with it.
When my wife and I met, my wife said to me that she says, "Promise me you won't die first, because I don't think I can live without you." So I told my wife that if the doctor tells me I have 6 months to live, then you have 5. So I can keep my promise.
Wow. That's very romantic, actually.
Yeah, that's what I said. So now I'm wondering, did your father and mother have that same agreement? She's like, "I couldn't live without you." He goes, "Okay, well, you won't have
had an
to."
interesting relationship. Yeah.
So, Richard, this book, 3 books is a lot to take in, but the question that I know would come up with me if I did this, I know it would be a negative thing. Did you find out anything you wish you hadn't known?
Yeah, I think it will show up in book 2. It turned out to be still a mystery, right? So I don't know. I don't think my father was my father, right? So that was a surprising thing to me. And my mother was not as virtuous as she claimed herself to be. She was a human, right? And she was lonely. She struggled on many things, and so those are all surprising elements. Otherwise, I thought my mother was this god, right? I put her on a pedestal. She was really smart and fast and brilliant, and I was this sort of I couldn't even manage to achieve 10% of what she had. But yeah, and then writing the memoir, I realized, wow, these are all just ordinary human beings.
Ouch!
I like that.
I mean, on the website. I'm sorry, on the website East Windazine, I guess that's how it's pronounced.
Yes.
The some of the text, a lot of the Chinese towns and places are written in English and then again in Chinese. And I thought that was just going to be a pattern throughout the whole thing. But one of the things I noticed is like toward the end where it says during the birth, I think this is the birth of your mother, where it says the midwife says, "Come." It's a girl. She says, "No, it can't be a girl. Come, try it. Look again." Basically,
Look again.
Yeah.
All right. It's a guy with a really, 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 really small penis.
But after the sentence, but the sentence is, come back, check again. It has to be a boy. And then the sentence is written again in Chinese. And I'm just wondering about that device. Why is there like something different about the way it's said in Chinese than as opposed to the English translation? Like there's like not an exact translation. And so you said, well, this is what she actually said in Chinese. And this is how I interpret it in English. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, actually, I think they pretty close. The translation would be yeah. So English version and Chinese version pretty much would say the same thing. We removed a lot of that, and it would have been 5 volumes. We had all of that in there.
That's something. That's what I was wondering why the book was so long.
My mother thought that immediately after she finished writing this whole memoir in English, she will either do it herself or find someone to help her because her Chinese was really bad to translate this out into Chinese, right? So then she had these essentially with notes in parentheses to remind her what to say in Chinese. And then, so we removed 90% of all of that, left a few in there, I guess.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are lots of different like dialects, like Mandarin, Cantonese.
Yes.
So there's not just Chinese, not like Chinese,
right, yeah,
not like English. If you speak English, you either speak New York or London.
Well, there's the Queen's English, New York, Alabama English.
Right, all right.
But I can't Mandarin.
I can't believe we didn't stay on this, and I really am curious about this. You found out that your father may not be your father. Now, did that little ripple expose itself before you interviewed him? Did you know that while you were talking to him as he was in his part of his contribution to your research, or did you find out after he had passed?
Because of our circumstance, mostly because I didn't know my father very well to start with, right?
Who does?
When I was born in the early 1960s. My father was sent to a labor camp, right? In Stalinist labor camp, and by the time he got out of jail, I was already 6 or 7 years old. And then by the time he and I started to have a sort of a relationship, my mother brought me to the States, right? So the family, my family was splitting halves. And by the time he immigrated, it was the late 1990s. I was a grown man, adult, right? And so when I was talking to him, more or less talking to a friend, but I always had a suspicion. And then so when I started working, I'm editing and completing my mother's memoir, I realized my mother's life, 10 years in a city, Shanghai, I guess, right? So that's an international city, far away from where my father was working and living at the time. And somehow I was conceived. And then there were many friends. I'm sorry.
Did it concern you? I apologize. Did it concern you enough to get a DNA test, like an ancestry 20?
So when my father passed away in 2015, he was on a trip to China, and I had to make an emergency trip to China to see him. And I was in the hospital with him for his last 2 to 3 weeks of his life, and I was desperately trying to get some information from him, right? And then I realized as far as I got, it was our blood types were totally different. So that actually told me that there's only 25% of chance, which is still fairly high, that he was my father.
You couldn't snatch a hair. You couldn't like snatch a hair with a root on it.
Yeah, I thought about that.
It's like, Dad, I love you. I just need to. I want to take a piece of you with me. Yeah, thanks.
A nose hair. Oh, ow,
I felt bad for the man. He was intubated, and he actually briefly he came around. He told me that he didn't want to die like this or suffer being tortured.
The question, and this is because from my experience, did you have a siblings? Right, you have a sister.
I have an older sister. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Did this revelation or this suspicion that you have that your father might not be your father, did that cause friction or hard feelings between you and your sister? Did your sister accept that? Does she agree with you? Any of that kind of stuff?
So she was non-committal. and she is 6 years my senior, older than me, but I guess my sense that she didn't know enough what was going on back in early 1960s.
Well, here's where, because in my world, I found out on my mother's deathbed that my father had cheated with my mother's best friend and got my mother's best friend pregnant, and that I had a half sister who I known all my life. I mean, she's about a year and a half older than me, and I've known her all my life. Now, my ex-brother, I used to have a brother before the election here, and he was extremely opposed to that idea, and just like it made him angry for me to even bring it up. Basically, calling my mother a liar on her deathbed. But like, why would she do that? But it caused a lot of, even before I had to just make him my ex-brother. It caused a lot of tension between us because he just would not accept the evidence. I mean, I had firsthand testimony from my mother, but she was delirious. She didn't know what she was saying. I don't know. I think she knew what she was saying. She wanted me to know that I had a half sister before she passed. But
so cautionary tale not to sleep with her.
Yeah, well, I almost did, which is a whole other story. I mean, years ago, and I was like, "Wow, who just dodged a bullet with that one?"
But it's kind of nice to find out, no, for you personally.
Yeah. But my brother, my ex-brother, it made him violently angry. I mean, to the point where we almost came to blows over the idea. So I was just thinking maybe, and he's 7 years older than me, like your sister's 6 years older than you. For some reason, I'm not ready to accept that kind of information into change my life story now. My whole self-identity kind of changes with that.
It does, yeah, it does, and it makes life makes it. I mean, it's not easy to accept right away, right? It takes time,
right?
Process.
So, any other of those revelations from people, maybe not family, but friends of your mother's or friends of your family, that might have just like taken like exception, or just been really shocked to find out some things that are in the books?
Fortunately, no. In part because I don't know my Chinese side of family as well as I should, because again, I left China in 1980s. But even in 1980, even before that, China. I mean, you say you have families here and there, but you don't get to see them. You maybe get to see them once in a decade. People don't travel that much in the 1960s and 70s in China, and so I
have family in Baltimore that I only see once a decade, and that's
only
an hour away.
There you go, right?
That's only an hour away.
So I don't know them very well, and so I don't even know if they have seen the memoir or read the book. Let alone reading the book.
That was going to be my next question. Like, is the book for sale worldwide? Is it for sale in China, or do you need to translate it? I don't know.
I got the first one translated into Chinese because it contains contents least sensitive to the current communist regime in China. Right. The second one, the third one, I haven't. In part, again, I don't dare to translate those contents into Chinese because I know there are still people, extended, distant relatives in China from my Chinese side of family. But the first one, because it contains much of history before 1950s in China, and I got the feeling that a lot of Chinese people might be interested in that. Technically the book, the memoir is available worldwide, and even in China, in Hong Kong at least. But the Chinese version, only the first one. Right.
Now you said your mother was a practicing ophthalmologist in China, or was it ophthalmologist or?
Yeah. She was adopted by American medical missionaries in 1931 when she was born. And during World War II, she lived in Yonkers, New York. Actually attended schools in Yonkers. And then by 1945, when the war ended, her parents took her back to Asia, to China, because they want to continue their medical mission in China. And then 1950, during Korean War, my American grandparents were driven out of China overnight, right? Because Korean War essentially is a proxy war between America and China on Korean Peninsula. So my mother was in college at the time and didn't know what to do. And then unfortunately, at that time, the Chinese Communist government knew they needed two professions. They needed teachers, so they shuffled half of those college kids into teaching professions, and the other is physician. So they shuffled the other half, and my mother belonged the other half into the medical professions. So lo and behold, my mother became an ophthalmologist, I guess, in communist China for better part of 3 decades before coming back to the States.
And when she came back to the States,
I thought it was all classical violinists. I thought that.
She wanted me to be, but I sucked at it. So
if you pay attention to my Facebook feed, every Chinese person is a amazing virtuoso violinist. I don't know.
Yeah, and she was actually really good with piano and also music, singing. And then somehow I didn't inherit a single strand of DNA from her on that. Yeah.
So maybe she's not your mother and your father really is your father.
There you go.
Yes.
Really, your father is Kid Rock, which is why you have.
Don't do that to him. Don't do that to him.
That's why he has no musical talent whatsoever. It just happens that way. Anybody who gets near Kid Rock, they more automatically lose every ounce of musical inclination they might have. So now is all 3 books out already, or are we ripping them out?
The last one came out almost 2 years ago now.
So we're looking at Spring Flower. This is the one we're looking at. Is the first
yes, ma'am.
edition.
Yes.
Okay. So all 3 have been out. So how is it resonating with Americans? Because there is this fascination with understanding Chinese culture, but there is also a lot of bigotry, a lot of suspicion, a lot of hatred for China in America. Like anytime a conspiracy comes up, well, China's behind it. The balloons, China must be behind it. Drone, China must be behind it. Wuhan, whatever. It's we have a lot of anti-China sentiment in this country. How is the
fortune cookies were so bad we blamed them on China, and we invented them. So
and fortune cookies happen in Queens. The main factory for fortune cookies in Queens, New York.
But when they realized how bad the fortunes were, they said, "Nope, these are Chinese." So yeah.
So, but how is the book being received by Americans? Because it seems like there is this curiosity and this really want to understand the culture, but at the same time, there's a lot of hatred, bigotry, anti-Asian, anti-everything kind of sentiment. How is the book being received by Americans?
Well, it's a great question, and I think potentially anti-Chinese fervor, mostly at the sort of, I don't know if it has reached the peak or not in the recent decade or decades, right? And I would say the interest in what went on in China behind the closed wall for 1950, from 1950s to late 1970s, prior to my mother coming back to the States. The interest in China peaked in 1970s and 1980s, right? And I think it's natural, right? China is becoming an economic power, and if not also militarily, and America has certain legitimate fears of that, and so whenever that happens, then we become cautious or suspicious of what the other countries was doing. Then just remember, when I came to the States, anti-Japanese fervor was
we still have that too,
high, right? Because Japan was going to become the economic superpower, right? And they've already invaded our automobile industry, right? So I think these things come in cycles. Why would this memoir matter? I think this memoir is about Chinese history. It's about American history, also partly, and the world history. It's about, I guess, it gives a glimpse of heart and soul of a Western civilization, and that so totally include the American civilizations, how Americans sacrifice themselves to help out countries in dire strait, helping our people impoverished at the time in China,
Yeah.
at the time when they actually adopted my mother, these American medical missionaries, among
Wow.
many other Western missionaries, and how America stood high, on this on this hill and beacon. It was a beacon on the hill for what has been beacon on the hill for what half a
Yeah.
century or more, and there was reason for that, right? And the world looked up to us. Us meaning I'm American now, right? So looked up to us.
I feel like there's something
My
in
mother's
what you
memoir
just
speaks
said.
well of this relationship between these two countries, right? Overall,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of enlightening for me to hear that because there's even within America, there's this anti-American sentiment that we're not the good guy. It's a complex culture, and we have done a lot of good things, despite we've done a lot of bad things. And it's just there's no black and white issue here when it comes to American history
not at all.
as it relates to world history. It's a very complicated thing, and I think it's important for people to learn about. Now, was part of this a learning of world history and China and the American relationship within the last 150 years? Did you learn anything new as far as that goes from even the Vietnam War parts of it and all that conflict of all? Did you learn anything that came as a surprise to you as far as historical facts?
I wouldn't say surprise, but I would say I learned enormous amount about uh, humanity, about the recorded human history, and the fact that we're reliving some of it, and because we meaning not people here necessarily per se, but people in this chat room per se, but just in general, right? We don't pay attention or observe enough about our history or accept our history, and
Right.
let alone acknowledging what happened in the past. So we tend to repeat them. So we're actually reliving some of that, so I think for me personally, writing this memoir, completing my mother's memoir, was just a going back to school experience, learning everything I missed about American civilization, Western civilization, and the Chinese modern history, I guess, in the last 100
I don't
years.
think I'd want to take on. I feel like it would be psychotherapy that could turn really dark if I tried to do my mother's memoir without her participation. I mean, I know
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it was dark for me. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, congratulations on completing it. Because that doesn't. Did you want to do it when you first started? Were you eager to take it on, or you felt like you owed it?
To be honest, it was so exhaustive. It was so exhausting. I guess that's a better word. That if I had known if I knew what I know now, I would never promise my mother to finish her book. I don't know how
Oh
many
yeah, I
times
didn't
I looked up
realize
the
you made a
side asking
promise.
her to come down to finish this damn thing herself, right? So yeah, it was very
Wow.
difficult at times. Yeah.
Was it a deathbed promise?
Yes, it was. My mother was
See,
dying of Alzheimer's, so
See, you
I
could have got away with it if it was a pinky
but she
swear.
wouldn't
If it
have
was a
remembered.
pinky swear, you could have gotten out of it. But oh,
I'm sorry.
See,
Yeah.
those deathbed promises are the worst. My father got me engaged on his deathbed. He's my girlfriend was standing next to me, and my father was about to die, really on his last breath, and he said he wanted a wedding, and Matthew and Laurie should get married, and like she'd go, "Oh, we're engaged." Wait, I didn't know about this. This is him. You're engaged to him, not me. Those deathbed promises, just stay away from them. When somebody's dying, leave the room. That's what I say. Get out, run.
Unless you're in the will. If you're in the will, you gotta stick it out to the end, just out of respect.
In her will, she gave me 3 boxes full of manuscripts.
Yeah. Now the ultimate question: do you think she thinks she's happy with the result of what you did?
Oh, I hope so, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That would sum up my relationship with my mother, right? She was
It'd be
a tough
so
cookie on me.
difficult.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to figure out, like, what am I exposing more than she would want me to expose, or any of that kind of. I guess if she was writing her own memoir, she intended to be as honest as possible. But how do you know where she would have drawn the line? That's got to be the most difficult part of writing a book like this. Is
yes, it was.
having those conversations with yourself. Should I include this or should I not include this?
She was pretty honest, and I think I actually held her back a little bit because I didn't want to piss people off.
Right. Did you change any names?
Change all the names and time and places. Yeah. So partially fictionalized, and also a lot of stories came from people I interviewed.
Now I have a question that has very little to do with the book, but it's got a lot to do with, I guess, you. Well, actually, more the way America is. It's more about America.
Big. I'm sorry.
It's more about America. Generally, when Americans say Asian, they think of China, Japan, Thailand, like that, but they don't think of Russia when they say an Asian. But Russia is part of Asia. Now, are you relieved when they say Asian that Russia's not included? or do you think that people are just being racist and not including them? Is it a relief to say, yeah, thank God Russia's not Asian? You know, how's it?
I'm ambivalent on that because Russia is partially Asian and partially, I guess, Eastern Europe, right? And then you will find people in Russia. You can identify them as Asians or identify them as Europeans. So that actually some stories actually in the book talked about that. My mother was in Harbin, the fairly well-known city. It's essentially Moscow of China, and amazingly found a lot of Westerner-looking people. Yet it was a big city. It's a big city in China, right? I think when I guess if people refer me to as Asian, I'm fine. As Chinese, I'm also fine. Yeah.
What if they call you Japanese? Do you get pissed off?
No, not at all. Because my father might have been Japanese. So
wow.
Yes.
Now is that based on rumor, or did you trace?
That's based on actually stories my mother put down. And then when I came to the States, when I got older, lived in New York City for a brief period, and people thought I was Hispanic. And then,
you're Italian.
From my mother's story, I also knew there were a lot of Cubans who visited China in the 1960s, and she interacted with them. So I don't know. So we're back to the similar topic, right? That's why I don't know. So people, I don't.
I remember being in a theater not too long ago, and there was a Korean lady, and somebody called her Japanese, and she lost her shit. I mean, she was so angry by that, like, "Oh, we're all Asians look alike to you," or whatever, and like they somehow Asian people can determined by sight whether somebody is Chinese, Japanese, Korean, whatever Asian variation you might have. But Caucasian people, I don't know if this is true with African people or not, but Caucasian people just can't tell the difference. They all look the same.
To be fair, it took me a while, quite a few years before I could tell the difference between Caucasians after I immigrated to the States.
Wow.
Yeah, but the animosity between Koreans and Japanese go way back, right? I would say
and Chinese and Japanese too. No,
sorry,
didn't China and Japan have
sure. So some Chinese will feel angry, I guess. I want to use a four-letter word, but angry.
Well, they'll be pissed probably.
Now, my brother was very light skinned and had blonde hair and blue eyes when he was very young, and eventually.
Thanks for talking about me.
And eventually he got darker skin and brown eyes, and his hair turned brown. But for the first year or two of his life, he used to get very angry. He carried the anger up until his 20s because people used to think he was white, and
That would make
took
me
that.
angry too.
It actually became almost racism because my mother also is very light, and my mother was sometimes passed for white because of segregation in Maryland. And so if she was in trouble, my mother was white. It's like, what? Those people, I don't know them. I'm white. I'm one of you. But I'm just bringing that because it's talking about the. Never mind.
No, I think this memoir is also about identities, right? And my mother was funny too, because she was raised in American families, surrounded by Westerners. English was her first language, or if not native language. And also, she lived in the States during the wartime, right? I mean, she was just completely feeling like she was American, not even any hyphenated American. She was just American.
So,
and so actually, it was bizarre that for 30 years in China, she was a foreigner in her own birth country.
Now, did your mom have sayings when you were growing up? Like my mother had sayings, like she'd say, "Do as I say, not as I do." Because my mother knew she was a.
What about Jews? You're saying something about Jews?
I said, "Do as I say, not as I do," because my mother knew she was a flawed person, and if we followed her example of life, we'd also be in trouble. So, did your mother have like little sayings that stuck with you over the years?
The only thing I remember my mother prior to coming to the States in 1980 was that I figured that she was speaking Chinese with American accent, and then I figured out why, because she essentially shanghaied me to onto a plane coming to America. I didn't know what was going on when I was coming to America, and she was giving me crash lessons about her life while we were on a Pan Am flight, and then I figured out why she spoke, funnily, I guess, right? And then she didn't know Chinese history very well. She didn't know the language very well. A lot of people, neighbors, will ask, "Oh, where did you get your accent from?" And I was thinking, "Wait a minute, what accent?" And then later on, realized she was speaking with a Chinese, with a Western accent, I guess. And then was coming to the States, and I realized she knew a lot of these old idioms, like what the one you just said, right? And she was trying to parlay them to me, right?
Yeah, I want to see, and I don't know how we would work this out so people could get the joke, but somebody like an Asian person come to Brooklyn, New York, learn Guinea, New York isms, the whole "yo, bro," what and how that would affect when they go back to Asia, and like you're talking like Joey Bag of Donuts from Brooklyn. Would be.
But you're saying it in Mandarin. Speaking Mandarin with a Brooklyn accent.
There's got to be a way to make comedic gold out of that.
Well, actually, it was her New York accent that saved her, right? So by 1978, China reopened to the West. So all these conferences and people from Europe and from America would attend these conferences in China. She was drafted as an interpreter for these people. And then an American physician from Mass General Hospital found her. And was just puzzled. Where did you learn your English? Right. Of course, a billion people, somebody could speak fairly well, but this is almost perfect, flawless. I have with a New York accent. And then he found out my mom's past and then tried to help her out coming back to America.
As a New Yorker, I'm highly offended by New York accent because I'm not really. But we have Jewish New York accents, which is people mistake my accent for being like a Jackie Mario finger over there. Jewish New York accent, Italian New York accents, which is completely different. Hey, yeah. They don't say actually words; they just make sounds.
Yeah. Puerto Rican New York accent.
Yeah, and there's a Irish New York accent, which I can't do right now, but so there's a lot of
I think hers was a Scottish New York accent because my grandmother was Scottish, born and raised in Edinburgh. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
What's your PhD in? What are you? What's your
me? Chemistry. Yeah.
chemistry.
I taught chemistry for almost 3 decades.
Organic or
organic chemistry? Yes,
okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So now this is where I was getting to why I asked you PhD. Have you given that career up and now you're a full-time author, and you're going to continue authorship, or is this? Are you done? You feel like you've paid your due to your mother and you can just go back to chemistry?
Thank you for asking. That was the original plan. It didn't work out that way. I thought working on my mother's memoir would just be a weekend thing, having fun. And it took a toll on me, and it was so, again, exhausting, right? So I had to quit my career a little bit early. I retired and just to focus on the memoir to finish it off. Yeah. So now I try to see if I can fancy myself as a writer, right?
Now, do you have kids of your own? Do you have kids, and what do they think of their? Because did they know their grandmother?
No, I don't have any kids. Yeah.
Do you want some? I have two that I'm tired of raising. No,
you seem like
a good man. I would be proud.
I'm trying to do this world a favor. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying you seem like a good man, and I would be proud to have you take my kid, raise them for me.
People can find out more about Richard and buy the books, or links to where you can buy the books at richardperkinssung.com. Now the H is
it's Shung.
Silent.
Yeah, the H is silent. It's backwards.
It's silent. The H is silent, right?
Or SH.
No, that H comes after the S at Shung, but the H in PhD is silent, so it's just a PD.
I know. I'm sorry. I can't make it. I can't. It's not funny. It's just not funny. You can't make it funny if it's not funny.
Now, I am curious about something you said, because it sounds like you said that you were shanghaied to New York.
Yes,
and
that's yeah.
and I want to know why, because because I'm honest. I've had hundreds of friends in China, Thailand, from Asia, hundreds of them, and I've never heard any of them say Shanghaied. And this is the first time I've ever heard somebody say that. And does it mean? I guess, and obviously it means the same thing to you as it does to us. Shanghai means you're just like spirited away.
Yes.
But how did Shanghai? Yeah. How did the city of Shanghai become equated with being spirited away to another place?
I don't recall how that word became a verb, and how the name became a verb, but it's essentially hijacking, right? So, so I was technically hijacked from my classroom. My classmates didn't know what happened to me. I just disappeared into thin air, and next thing I knew, I was in Shanghai Pudong Airport. In the 1980s.
So you're Shanghai from Shanghai. Shanghai.
So I
Googled it.
Shanghai and landed in JFK. Yeah.
I threw it in the Google machine, and it says that the term originates from the practice of forcibly recruiting sailors in the port of Shanghai, China, where men would be drugged and put on ships without their consent.
Yes,
right.
And laborers. Yeah. Yes.
So we here call that Brooklyn. We are from Brooklyn.
You can also call it an Epstein as well.
Ooh.
It doesn't say much, but when you do, you can take it to the bank.
You're gonna make Krasnov like flinch a little, man. Careful.
All right. So people can go to Richard Perkins silentletter.com. Anyway, thanks for being here, Richard. Good luck with the book. We'll get the book or all 3 books. You make us read 3 books. This is just not right.
Where are you in the U.S. now? Where are you now? Where do you live?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Madison, Wisconsin. Okay. So if I want to send you 2 kids to raise, I should send them to you in Madison, Wisconsin,
and plus $2 million check. Right.
Yeah. Whoa, hey Stephen, you got that money I lent you? Just send it to. Don't give it back to me. Pay it to Richard.
Right. Well, thank you for being
$1 million on its way.
Thank you so much for having me, Matt.
All right. Thanks.
I really
enjoyed
this conversation. Yeah.
So did we. We definitely, and we might have learned something. I'm not sure. I have to review my notes after the class, but I think I learned something. Anyway, thanks for being here, and good luck with the books, and we'll continue to support you. If you write a 4th edition, don't come back. Write another book and then come back. Something about something different.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for
I'll
being
keep
No,
that
you
in
can
mind.
make it about your mom, but make your mom a spy. You know, like, and she's like stealing secrets to save humanity, and she's
That would
working in league with maybe a
be
9-foot praying
anti-Asian
mantis.
bigotry that's
No,
already
no,
been
she's
going
working with a 9-foot tall alien to save humanity.
Oh, you managed praying mantis?
Yeah, praying mantis. That's the saying. A 9-foot tall praying mantis to save humanity.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Bye for now,
All right.
Richard. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Dr. Richard
Okay.
Perkins Stone. Bye. Interesting stuff there. You know, praying mantis, that whole thing. Praying mantis, it's illegal to kill a praying mantis here.
In Maryland too.
If
Why?
they're 9 foot, I don't know. I can't. Why?
Because they help insect
they
control.
eat other bugs. They eat like
Yeah.
ticks and whatever. But
Yeah,
if
but they're
they're 9
scary and they look scary.
I know, but if they're 9 foot, I think it's fair game, right? I mean, they're
Well,
little
if they're
bug,
9 foot, they can fend for
Oh
themselves.
yeah.
Butter me with Crisco and call me a mule.
If I encounter a 9-foot mantis, I'm the one going to hang, not him. Dear God.
Is Ron a
Right.
ventriloquist? Is Ron a ventriloquist now? He's not moving his lips, and but it doesn't sound like him. But it's still, I don't know. I'm all confused. Praying mantis are rare.
I don't have an answer for that.
They're not that endangered. If they're so fucking endangered, how come they're all over my fucking yard?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Now you know that. Now it's to me. Here's the funny thing: to them, their aliens look like praying mantis, and I think one of the most alien creatures on this planet is the octopus, because of how smart it is and the way it looks. To me, that's alien.
Scientists have said that their DNA is the most unique DNA on the planet, and they don't think it comes from here.
Yeah. So I don't know why.
When they say don't come from here, they mean like Fort Wayne, Indiana. It doesn't come
from
here.
New York. They're not from
Earth.
They were Shanghai. They were Shanghai.
Yeah, they're not from Long Island.
Yeah.
And plus, the DNA doesn't come out of socks easily either.
That's true.
I do have a couple of showbiz stories because there's some interesting stand-up news.
Really, I'm all ears. Well, that would be funny to be all ears, wouldn't it?
It would be
a little awkward. No,
but then we wouldn't be hearing you though. You'd only be listening to us.
Well, if I were all ears, I could hear that silent, but I can't hear that silent. All right.
Yeah.
And now, bringing you the latest in entertainment news from Hollywood, New York, and East Bumfuck, Montana, here's our chief entertainment correspondent, Ron Kane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Showbiz.
Hey everybody, it is Tuesday, and make sure you eat at Minucci's tonight.
No, I'm sorry, we have to change that. It's eat at Minuchin's.
Ew, what is going on with your face, Ron? Why is your mouth open?
Why did AI pick your face, Ron? What did you say, AI?
No, can't you see? I went and visited Fort Knox recently, and this is me with the gold.
I got to put something in there. Hold on.
Money shot.
The truth is, I'm right about all of it, and you know it.
And you know it.
It looks like you're trying to smuggle a gold bar out in your ass.
He's like,
So the first story here is Roberta Flack has passed at the age of 88. So longtime singer. If you don't know her, you probably know her from
I don't know her.
Doja Cat recently sampled one of her songs, and that was a big hit. So,
and the Fugees had a big hit with "Killing Me Softly" with his song in the '80s or something, right? That was
late '90s, early 2000s. I think that was officially.
Right. Whatever. My dementia is not good with the calendars.
Yeah, I mean it was about 20 years ago. But anyway, she has passed. So safe home.
I did a cover of Killing Me Softly with his 2008. We were playing a lounge, and for some reason, everybody wanted to come up with a request, and somebody requested Killing Me Softly was his song, and I did it. And a woman broke down in tears, and she was like, "Oh, I love my favorite song." I butchered it to fucking hell, and everybody in the was ready to throw up and stuff. But this one woman was so touched by it, I think she gave us a $100 tip. It might have been more than that. But,
Did you? Were you singing like "Butchered Softly"? I'm butchering softly her song.
it was a combination of like Johnny Rotten and Jim Morrison doing a Roberta Flack song.
Yeah, what Matt doesn't tell you is that 2 days later he received a postcard from Roberta Flack that just said "fuck you" on it.
Yeah. That will be in my mother's memoir.
All right. So this is Timothy Chalamet. You want to see his Wonka? Apparently, he won the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Actor. So yeah. So this is for his Bob Dylan movie. So
what you say? Do you want to see his Dylan? No, no.
Yeah, people love Timmy. This is Billy McFarland. So the Fry Fest reboot is coming. Tickets went on sale yesterday. There are no acts even attached to this festival, but tickets are selling anywhere from $1,400 to $1 million.
Wow. They've offered me an opportunity to not perform there again this year.
Yeah, if you don't know about the Fire Festival, there are 2 documentaries out there. Go look it up. And Joe Rule doesn't want to talk about it.
Well, I'm just who's got that? I mean, $1,400. I could see like Mike Chavola going to it. Like he can afford $1,400 tickets. That's so if you're taking your wife, that's $2,800 just for the seats before you buy any drinks, food, or any of that kind of stuff. But who's got the kind of money to spend $1 million to go? I don't know. You got it. So it's for billionaires only. Basically,
maybe. I was actually listening to something yesterday, and they were actually talking about how the economy breaks down and like purchasing power. And current of the recent data, 50% of all purchases made in the U.S. were people that were earning over $250,000 more a year.
Wow.
Yeah. So there we go. So if you want your tickets, go ahead. You won't believe it until you see it, but apparently the new Daredevil series is getting some good reviews by critics. They haven't said exactly when this launches on Disney Plus, but that is
March. I thought you said March 14th. Or was it March 4th?
Maybe. But the early reviews are pretty strong for it, and Disney has said that these shows will be violent, just like on Netflix.
Yep, and I've also heard that these are all going to be canon in the MCU, meaning you will if you're trying to stay on the level of keeping track of shit, you got to watch this stuff.
Whoa! And they're going to bring pretty much all the Defenders, the people who were the Defenders in the Netflix series, are bringing them back for this as well.
Yeah,
so it sounds like it. I'd like to see Luke Cage come back. He was great.
Yeah, apparently they're GD's right. Apparently they are bringing all them back.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's fucking badass. I would love to see that because those shows honestly did not get the love they deserved on Netflix. They were really good.
Yeah. I was late to the party and seeing them. I was, and by the time I didn't find out about them until they were like, they like this. Who was it? Sony, whoever has halted it and said like, okay, well, this is it. We're moving them to Disney. And that's when I found out about them.
Yeah, and another note out there, if you're into superheroes, the latest Venom drops today also on Netflix. If you have Netflix and you want to see
Yeah, I know what I'm watching after this.
Yeah, so that's on. I know my wife is a big fan of all these series, like the Jessica Jones, Daredevil.
I knew I liked your wife. She's dope. I like her a lot.
Did she like the She-Hulk series?
Nobody liked the She-Hulk series.
Yeah, I think it was mixed. Yeah. It was.
Well, it's funny. I started watching the She-Hulk, and I couldn't make it to the first half of the first episode. And then last night I rewatched it, and now I think they were trying to do something different, and that's why people didn't like it. I mean, that and the effects were kind of bad.
Well,
the
biggest reason She-Hulk. Well, yeah. So the biggest reason She-Hulk failed was lack of penetration. They've really kind of calmed down the Hulk situation, because he became Smart Hulk, and then Jessica Jones, or not Jessica Jones, but She-Hulk just kind of turns into Hulk and can handle it somehow. And then the visuals, the graphics in that show sucked.
Well, she's not like a first generation Hulk, so why not have a little more control?
I feel like this whole conversation has turned to quantum physics because I don't understand a word you guys are.
Because the Hulk is a rage monster. The Hulk is a giant rage monster.
But he eventually, at least in
after
Thanos,
after decades and beating Thanos and inner fighting. But the thing is how does his cousin become Hulk and have no issues, no control issues?
If it's okay, look at DNA.
All right, we gotta move on.
You are not 100% your mom or your dad. You are 50-50.
Right now. We are gonna give away a big prize here, a free motel stay for GD and Steven tonight at the local fuck motel to resolve that. A lot of that's come.
All right, so moving on. May the Schwarzenegger be with you.
I think you're saying it wrong. I think it's Schwarzenegger, but go ahead.
Yeah, so his son is in the latest season of White Lotus, and apparently his son has nudie scenes, and his mom is enjoying the show, apparently.
Okay.
Maria Shriver is the kid's mom? Is that
correct? Yep.
RFK.
So if you want to see some Schwartz, go check it out.
Wow.
Does he have nigger Schwartz? Does he have nigger Schwartz, or does he have white Schwartz?
Sure. So this is Nicholas Galazine, and this is a picture from the new He-Man movie that's currently in production. So this is the guy that is playing He-Man, if you're interested.
That's some chin he's got.
He looks like a feminine Johnny Depp.
The whitest chin on the planet, I think. It's like it doesn't.
Yeah, I wasn't sure who this guy was. That's why I pulled up his picture, because I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Yeah, so he looks like a girly Johnny Depp to me.
Yeah, I don't. It's a weird choice, I think, but I can't even believe they're still even making a He-Man movie. I mean, come on, let it go.
Yeah, well, it's PC.
I was ready for a She-Man movie. But that's a whole other section of the video store.
Yeah, well, I mean, in my opinion, the country has swung very bisexual in the past 5 years, so it all makes sense.
So he should be they man.
Yeah. So this is
speaking of.
Yeah, this is Don Lemon to Megyn Kelly. Go fuck yourself is what he said. Apparently, Megyn Kelly went on some rant about Joy Reid, and that was Don Lemon's response. Go fuck yourself.
She's got a problem with everything. I mean, Megyn Kelly is the most stuck-up, anal fucking retentive bitch on the planet. I don't know where she got this impression that, she's that important. She should just go dry the period blood that's shooting out of her eyes and go away.
Yeah,
I'm with Don Lemon on this. So that, I guess, proves Ron's point about going bisexual, because I'm with Don Lemon.
The funny thing is, Megyn Kelly actually is, if you take away the politics, she's a smart person. But as soon as you add the politics to her, she gets fucking dumb.
You should have a shirt that says that, Matt. I like lemon. All right. So this is Matt's favorite comic. This is from Funny Stand Up. Apparently, a lady hit Segura's Porsche yesterday.
I would flee too, to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to put up with that. I would run.
you would run as well. Oops.
Yeah,
sorry.
well, who needs his? Because now he's going to be on your mother's house, just talking about the dick who hit his. How dare you hit my Porsche?
Yeah, you're probably gonna get. Whoops, you're gonna get a lot of that. And has anyone seen it besides Matt and
His
me?
Porsche.
Your mother.
I haven't seen his Porsche.
This fucking thing.
All right. Yeah, Tom Segura. That was.
Oh, hold on. Here it goes.
Sarcastic.
Hi, happy Monday, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. It's a wonderful day here in Austin. I just had a fun thing happen that I thought I would share with you. I was looking at a place, like a work-related thing, and as I was looking off the balcony into this parking lot, I watched in real time a vehicle back up into my car. So I was watching, and I was like, "Yo!" And luckily, there was some guys in the parking lot working construction, and they stopped this vehicle. Right? They stopped them.
All right, and we'll move.
Call the cops.
There's the lady in the truck. That's the dent.
Oh no.
That's her driving off. Then he put pictures and her license plate out there.
People are victims like Segura.
Does that thing behind the thing you're showing us say Black or White Chicks 2 is happening?
Oh yeah, that's old news.
Burning down this world.
So if you care, like Matt said, I'm sure it'll pop up on his podcast. So be ready for that.
Dude, he has so much money. Fucking get over it. Just fix it.
Now, somebody, I think it might be that podcast cringe guy, the Australian guy who does negative reviews of podcasts. I think he said, I don't want to misquote him here, but I thought he said that both Bird and Tom Segura were moderating their elitism a little bit and reacting to all the negative feedback they got from their just bragging about how rich they were in their show.
Yeah.
So they'd had like an epiphany of some sort, but I guess
they've definitely cut back on it. I've watching their shows. Yeah, they're not nearly as, because at one point they were just like buying each other like $20,000-$30,000 gifts and like flaunting it on their show, and it was just really weird flexing, and they really backed off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I clearly understand his frustration as someone hitting his car, but since you're a very wealthy comedian in these times and you're driving a Porsche, what kind of sympathy are you looking to garner?
This reminds me of how about my relationship with Ron, the way they give each other those expensive gifts. Ron and I send each other pictures of very expensive gifts that we would like to be able to afford to give the other person.
Okay, yeah, but you don't. But the difference is you're not spending the money and then going on a podcast in front of millions that are poor and being like, "Look, we spent $40,000 on Hitler's teacup." Like,
and by the way, buy our alcohol. Buy our alcohol at our latest appearance as well. Yeah. So moving on with other news. This story broke yesterday as well. Alec Baldwin threatens to snap Jason Scoop's neck during improv bit. Now, this is a lot of fun. This is 2 clips, and let's see what happens.
Alec, it's your favorite president. Look, Alec, I will offer you a total pardon because I want to be friends, right? I want to be friends. I will give you a total pardon for murdering that woman if you kiss the ring. Kiss the ring, Alec. Kiss the big, beautiful ring. Come on, Alec. Come on. Look at Alec Baldwin, right? He did that impersonation of me. It was not too hot, not too good. But look, we're back in office. You lost. Kamala lost. She's somewhere getting intoxicated. Look at that suitcase. Unbelievable. Well, Alec, if you don't want that pardon for murdering that woman in cold blood, you can call it first degree. You can call it whatever you want, but it was not good. She's looking down on me right now, smiling, happy. Thank you for confronting the man who took me out, who killed me, and that's okay. Sure.
No, you realize, but
Whoa.
no, look at me. I want you
Yeah,
to look at me.
sure, sure.
You got a camera on me?
The ring? No, it's the ring. Alec, it's your face.
You realize my kids live in this building, right? But I want you to know something.
We love the children. We're doing great deals for the children.
Be real careful.
Okay.
If this camera was here, I'd snap your fucking neck in half and break your fucking neck right out. So you know that, don't you?
Okay. All right, Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, ladies and gentlemen, class act. Believe me.
He's not too smart, is
Okay.
he?
Alec was a Trump guy.
I'm a citizen of this. I was born and raised in New York City. I love you, Alec. Alec, look, Alec, you don't want to attack your favorite president, Alec. Look, I love you. I love you, Alec. He's got more balls than De Niro, that I can tell you. De Niro ran away. Alec confronted. That's good. He's strong, but also he's weak because he murdered a woman. So that's okay, right?
The only reason I say Alec is an idiot is like he's gotten himself in enough trouble for over the last 30 years with tapes and stuff of him doing things he shouldn't have said in public. He knows there's a camera taping him, and he's threatened this guy with violence rather than just like the right thing to do would be to threaten him with like legal action or something like that.
Well, I think he threatened him with violence. I think he threatened him with conditions. He was like, "Well, if
I'll break your fucking neck." You know that.
Yeah, if there was no camera, I would break your neck.
Still a threat.
It's a hypothetical. The camera's there, so he's not going to snap his neck. The camera's there. He's saying it right now.
Okay, but if you're safe. You're safe. So if I went up to the president and said, "Listen, if all these cameras weren't here, I'd shoot you in the face," and they arrested me, I would not be fine.
No, they couldn't arrest you because what you're saying is they're cameras. You're safe. Now turn off the cameras. And then you can arrest me.
We need to amend the disclaimer here. GD is not qualified to give legal advice.
Yeah, we had a disagreement. I wasn't giving out legal advice.
Anybody, just to clarify for anybody who's listening, do not threaten to shoot the president.
Yeah, that wouldn't be
unless you do it on camera and you explicitly say the conditions are if the cameras were not here, I would shoot you because obviously you're aware of the cameras, so you say you're safe.
He's a little jealous because Steven and Ron have both been kicked off the program, and GD is kind of like he's a little jealous, and he's trying to play that angle.
Kicked me off the program too.
I'm also like on Alec Baldwin's side on this a little bit because you're just trying to do your shit, and you have this guy coming up trying to do a bit.
Totally get it. Empathetic with him on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, especially with something you just gone through, and you've been exonerated from it, and for that guy to just roll up on you, I'm surprised Alec did not choke him.
Yeah. Well, he had that incident with the coffee woman, right, where he did choke her or whatever. He pushed her or put his hand. And then
he's had incidents in the past.
I don't have any problem with Alec Baldwin saying, "I'll break your fucking neck, get out of here." The problem is he knows there's a camera on him when he's doing it. He should have the right thing. Now this is not legal advice. This is thug advice, not legal advice. The right thing to do is go over, smack the camera out of the guy's hand, and then beat the shit out of both of them.
No, that's assault. See, if you do that, that's assault. That's why you just say
nobody knows that there's no fucking proof of it. I don't know.
I think the bruises on his eye would be proof, and there'll be footage of him doing this. Okay, knocking the camera off. You see the camera get knocked out. There's proof of that right there. And then the other guy shows up.
No. You go get the camera, you take it, and you destroy the evidence on it. That's
and make sure if you need GD's legal defense fund, please sign up because they have 100% conviction rate.
Right. 100% conviction rate, and that would be good if you were a prosecutor, but as a defense attorney, not so good.
I think Ron's talking about my conviction to help the people out. I think that's what he means by my conviction rate.
So that's showbiz. Enjoy the summer.
Where'd you get a picture of my wife getting ready to come pleasure me?
With tweezers? What are those? Ball pliers?
Neither those pliers?
No,
those are snippers.
I put in the prompt a wife going through it with a Slim Jim.
Wow.
That's funny. Matt, I just want to let you know I have now booked every week in March, but the 17th so far.
Ah, nice going, Clark. When will Steven be back?
Oh, just a second. What'd I miss?
Oh, I don't know. You didn't miss much. Well, Ron was talking about bisexuality and and tweezers.
Clark turned my background into Krasnov von Schitz's pants.
Okay, we can crash this fucking thing into a wall. I just want to not to alarm anybody, not to put panic out there, but I'm gonna put some panic out there and alarm people. I just lost a gig for Thursday. It said, unfortunately, I'm not going to name the place, has come down with a contagious virus that is deemed deadly, and the facility is closed down indefinitely. So
what virus?
What the fuck does that mean?
What virus? Because my wife's cruise. My wife was on a cruise, and they actually quarantined a good number of the passengers because they had developed, I think it's called a neurovirus.
I think you're right. I think it is called a neurovirus.
Yeah, isn't the neurovirus? Isn't that the flu?
No, it attacks the nervous system. But I can't give away any more information. I already. But here we are. I don't know. Measles is back. Measles is back. We can thank RFK Jr. for that. Polio will be back shortly. They're having a remake of Polio, which stars.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. To be fair, RFK did not start the measles comeback. That was
he didn't.
That was the anti-vaxxers.
He didn't start the fire, but
yeah.
he did enjoy
He's putting
it.
gas on it.
And
for sure. And he did speak to those. He did go around speaking to people, encouraging them not to get vaccinated. He didn't start,
and
it, but he did help it.
He also says that measles was not I had it when I was a kid. It's no big thing. It's like that guy who said, bird flu is no big deal. Polio was kind of a big deal. Ask Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Oh, you can't ask him.
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Then come take care of my kids then when they have it.
Right. Yeah. So there is a little bit of panic in me because I just lost a gig. I lost not just a gig, but indefinitely means every gig for the year I'm taking off the calendar now, thinking this place is going to be on. One thing I don't ever really want to do is ever do a show wearing a mask again and have to sing with a fucking mask on and smell my shitty fucking breath coming back.
Yeah, no doubt.
What about a clear shield? Have you tried it with a clear shield?
I've tried that. That shit sucks. They fog up. They catch spit. So fucking gross, dude. That's worse than a mask.
They put me in a piece of like a plastic bubble for one gig, and that I didn't have to wear the mask, but I was.
John Travolta. John Travolta, you the singer.
Butter me with Crisco and call me a mule.
Yeah.
He doesn't sound like Daffy Duck.
Yeah. So welcome to America, new neuro disease or whatever you are. We hope you enjoy your stay here. Now get the fuck out and go back to Wuhan where you came from. I'm sorry, that was just a racist, terrible thing to say.
You just shanghaied this show.
Tomorrow, Jackie the Joke Man Martling will be with us. We're going to be talking jokes. We're going to be talking about the Suffolk, and Jackie, I think, has a game. He has a game he wants us to play. I don't know if it's because last time he was here, he wanted to play some game called Hide the Pepperoni, and it did not feel well. Especially
whoa! Oh my god!
So I hope that's not.
The if you know about this,
yeah. No, I hope that's not the game to play tomorrow.
I don't do beef or pork. If it's not turkey pepperoni, I'm not playing.
Oh, don't be gay.
I might do a painting show tonight. I might not. I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. Anyway, the phrase that doesn't pay. Oh, no, I'm still giving away the comedy book. I got to learn how to do this. The game thing within StreamYard. Who we get the big winner? But there's lots of stuff we're going to be giving away. No trips for a while, but I might start doing trips again. Just to get
GD, I'm gonna also need you. We also might have to borrow you at some point this week to test out the calling system again.
Oh,
just let me know 24 hours in advance so I can clear my calendar.
When you said borrow them, I thought you had like cotton that needed to be picked.
Oh my God! I'm not my grandfather.
I used all my cotton to make Roberta Fleck's afro.
I don't think it's CK. When Ron had it up there, it was just FLAK, right? Roberta Flack. Now you got Flack, like "Don't give me no Flack, boy."
I thought that was the way she spelled on her album.
I don't know. I'll have to figure that out after we tell people. On your radio,
It's just the.
That's what I call schlong division. Finish inside me.
Butter me with Crisco.
It's coming for you!
Are you a retard?
listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen